Yes, sir, man.
If we were high, though, this would be so much crazier because, I'd be tweaking, dude. This is fucking nuts. I can't believe this.
I can't believe it, man. Think about it. Like 4 years ago, we were living in John Carroll, bulling around. You probably still were in season, right? No, wait, it's March. Or April, rather.
Yeah. Well, no, I was saying I can't believe these headphones. But no, that too, yeah, it has been so long. 4 years ago, what's today, April?
Yeah, April.
Yeah, so April. Damn, 4 years ago. No, I think I was done 4 years ago.
Yeah, okay, so 4 years ago was 2019.
Right. It was spring ball.
Yeah,
spring ball.
Your last spring ball ever, man.
Damn.
And did we move into Jake's yet? I thought it was.
Yeah, we did. We moved in before that. You moved in the Jake's the summer going into the fall. You moved in the Jake's the summer of 2019. We both did. You moved in like
okay, so you weren't moved in yet at that point.
No, moved in where?
To Jake's on April 2019, 4 years ago.
Yeah, I was. Me and you both moved in there in the summer, in the summer of 2018, right?
I don't think so.
No, we moved in.
No, because I tore my Achilles that season, 2018. I lived with my mom because I vividly remember this. Lived with my mom that whole semester, that whole winter semester. Moved back in with my dad for the spring semester, and then like you said, we moved in together in the summer
of 2019. That's when it all started. So we weren't living. So 4 years ago today, we weren't living together yet.
That was the days around Taste of Traymore.
Taste of Traymore was the OG name. Taste of Traymore, represent.
Dude, it's crazy though. It's cool to talk about where we started. And I was telling my dad this too. Is like if this journey is A to Z, I'm only on like C right now. But it's fun to look back at like before the alphabet even started, dude. You know what I'm saying? Is like when we were youngins playing football and not even really thinking about like what are we gonna do next. You're just kind of doing stuff for fun.
No, there's the I miss the ignorance of the real world. Not that we weren't thinking about it back then, but the ignorance of my only responsibility was to wake up. Like, we still hustled hard on the boulevard, we weren't
no doubt,
we weren't no slap dicks, but just like wake up, eat a healthy breakfast, go work out or go to football, do your schoolwork, and just have fun. Like, that was literally
hang with the boys.
Your only responsibility.
Yeah. How do you feel about it? Are you like, damn, I miss it? Or are you happy to be where you're at right now?
I'm definitely very happy to be where I'm at right now. Like, if you were to say, can I have a time machine and go back, I would say no. But I do reminisce on, like I said, the ignorance of it, where the stresses I stress about now weren't even thoughts back then. They might have been micro stresses, like, damn, when I'm done with college, like, what am I going to do? But you weren't really thinking about it.
It's like for your future self to worry about. In the moment, you know it's going to happen, but you're like, I don't really give a shit. That's something for me to worry about in the next semester or whatever, You just keep pushing it off.
No, literally. Like, even when, for example, like, I don't know about you, but when I was in college, like, even so when you're in that fall semester, like, you're really not even thinking about the spring semester yet, It's just kind of like, that's one thing about college is just you don't think too much about the future. You're kind of really locked into the present moment, which was a good time. And just, like, you weren't really concerned with, like, money. Like, obviously money's a big root in the adult world. Like, how am I going to earn money to afford a living? Like, because you're already broke anyway. You're in college, So it's just fun. You just blow money, like, do stupid shit. So I do miss that ignorance of... It's the same thing. So here's a good comparison that you can relate to that we've talked about before. And this will be good for anyone trying to get into a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
The ignorance when we were fat kids. We eat pizza and burgers and all the super unhealthy foods. I don't know, Pop-Tarts, whatever your guilty pleasures are. They were so good because you were so ignorant to what they were. All you knew was the taste and the satisfaction on your tongue. Now, as you and I are both very healthy individuals who practice a healthy lifestyle, who pay attention to nutrition, we go to eat those same things. Yeah, they still might taste good, but the satisfaction isn't there because we're not ignorant to what it is.
It's funny. I'm so happy you bring that up. And we've talked about this before. I feel like the older you get and the deeper you get into that healthier lifestyle, the harder it is to backtrack and go back to your unhealthy ways. because I ate out yesterday, and dude, like my stomach is still paying for it today. Like I don't know if it's my digestion isn't used to it, just like foreign foods, and it's different. But I feel like I had an iron stomach back in the day when I was playing. Like we have so many stories
about that.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. But nowadays, like, dude, I eat one piece of pizza, and my stomach is like, yo, what are you doing?
I gotta know what you had yesterday. What did you guys get?
Yeah, so went to Pops yesterday.
What's Pops?
Went to my dad's yesterday.
Oh, fucking Pops, your father. I thought you said you went out to eat. I was thinking Pops, like, was it a restaurant?
No. I guess I can see how that'd be
like, who the fuck's Pops?
confusing. Yeah, so Pops is my dad, the OG Dave.
Big Dave, shout out Big Dave.
Yeah, so I went over. We went and worked out a little bit, and then his clients invited us out to dinner at Flower.
Oh, that's your place, Manila.
Yeah, Manila. Shout out Manila.
Yeah, big dog.
Yeah, so it was good food. Like I got the salmon, and then I got these roasted mushrooms. Okay, this would be a good question to ask you because you're a cook. What are those mushrooms that I've never seen them look like this before? They're not like the normal. I don't even know the word for it. Like the regular mushrooms you would get and just like caramelize them over a steak, right?
Yeah.
You know those type. But they were mushrooms that were like stringy. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe oyster mushrooms.
Okay.
I don't know for certain. I'm not a fungi expert, but I think you would know more about mushrooms than
yeah.
I do. But I maybe oyster. I don't know. But it was pretty good.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. But it was.
Remember when you went to Flower the last time? Not the last time, but the one time. And you came home so sick because you're like, bro, why the fuck would I just get a fungi pizza? Like, you got the fungi pizza and you were so mad at yourself.
Sick.
You're like, no fucking meat on this thing? Are you kidding me?
Bro, that's another thing, too, as I've gotten older, is every meal I have, if it does not prioritize protein, I feel like I don't get full.
I can't eat it.
It's just not even good.
The guilt. You're like, why am I eating this?
Yeah.
You know? If I had a cookie, I got to go make a protein shake after just to make myself feel better.
Yeah, dude. I do that all the time where I'll make, like, say we have, like, a little bit of candy trail mix, like my mom just got us some the other day. I made an oatmeal with like protein inside of it and then put the trail mix on top of it because it's like, I want a little bit of sweetness, but I need the protein in. Like I feel, like you said, like I feel guilty for not doing that.
100%, dude. Speaking of the oatmeal, I got back on the protein oat grind.
Nice.
I've been off of it for a while, but
dude, you put me on.
Yeah, and I got off, and it's just like, dude, it's just easy. It's easy digestible, like protein, or the oats are like high in fiber, easy digestible, and they're so quick and easy to make. Like you don't really have to think about it. I've been back on them. Me and Maddie are both now. We're almost like a month strong back on the oats, but I was off of them for months, dude. I stopped eating oatmeal for a long time.
I know. Well, it gets kind of old too. When you eat it a lot, I feel like after a while you're like, okay, I'm kind of tired of the texture and just all that. That's how I feel.
Yeah, it's just like cycles. I feel like that's another part. Speaking of, I'm sure we'll talk a lot about health, but like part about healthy lifestyles, there's going to be times where you get like, you go through cycles with certain food items. You know what I mean? Like the go-to. So for the people listening, me and Trevor in college, we ate this thing we called it the go-to because it was literally so simple, so easy and cheap. Just white rice. Obviously, portion size vary to your individual needs, but white rice, frozen mix of vegetables, either chicken or ground beef, teriyaki sauce, and then you top it with sriracha. That's it. And that's called the go-to, and we fucking pounded that shit. But like, bro, I haven't had the go-to in months. I couldn't even tell you the last time I made a go-to.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll make it like a variation of it, but like not that basic how we used to eat it.
Oh, okay, I get you. Yeah, what are you eating nowadays? Like, what does your diet consist of? Do you have like because you're usually one of those guys who eats consistently the same thing for periods of time.
I do that. I think I definitely took a steak break. Last time I think I was on your podcast, I still eat steak, but like I think last time, probably like 3 months, up to 3 months ago. I mean, dude, you know me. I was eating steak for almost every meal.
Yeah.
Like,
how did you feel on that?
No, I felt really good. I think I'm glad I came to learn because I used to demonize fats and like, oh, excuse me, dude. I gotta keep drinking water. I feel like I'm gonna burp. Hold on 1 second. Ooh.
Yeah, we talked about that last time on the podcast. I think when you first came on, you were like hardcore carnivore, like bought into Liver King and everything, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was carnivore, but I was
definitely...
No, I know what you mean, though, like hardcore just steak. But no, so long story short, before I got into like eating steak all the time in that phase, because I still think steak's a great You know, it's packed with nutrients. It's a great protein choice.
Definitely.
But beforehand, when I used to just think general, like there's tiers to nutritional health, okay? So I'll dive into this real quick. I think it'll be good for the listeners. First, you just become aware that I need to be eating healthier. Then you start asking yourself, well, what's healthier? Most times it's because you want to lose weight. Like, let's just be real. There's obviously are some people who want to learn about nutrition to gain weight, but majority of the people in this country is to lose weight. So then you start thinking, well, what is healthier? Then the first step of nutrition and health, I think for most people, is calories. That's calories in versus calories out. So like, how do I consume less calories? So you start thinking that, oh, a fatty. So this is just tying back to the steak. I'm not going to get into full details, but you think a steak that's fat ribeye, because that was mostly what I was eating. You're like, oh, that's not healthy because it's so high in calories. So your perception of health in the early stages of nutrition is calories. So it's like, if this is high in calorie, it's not healthy for me. If this is lower in calorie, this is healthy, or that's healthier for me. You think that way in terms of drinks. So Pepsi, whatever, 26 grams of sugar. I don't know how many calories they are, whatever. Probably more than 26 grams.
Dude, I think a Coca-Cola has like upwards of like close to 100. Like
there's
like
gotta
a
be
full
so
Coke
much.
bottle. Yeah, it's wild.
All right, so we'll use Coke, whatever. We'll estimate it. We'll just say 100, even if it's not.
Yeah.
100 grams of sugar. And then you take a Diet Coke, 0 calories, 0 sugar. So you're automatically in your head, that's way healthier.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start, then we'll carry into the next tier of nutrition. Then you start thinking outside of the terms of just calories. Then you start thinking about what calories are made of. So then you start questioning yourself, like, well, that's more calories, but what are those calories made of? So, for example, you look at, we'll say a steak. You look at a piece of steak. We'll even say a sirloin, a lean cut. Okay, and you see, well, whatever, 40 grams of protein, 8 ounces, I don't even know. We're just throwing estimates out. And then you see 2 scoops of protein powder from some whack brand. Okay?
Yeah.
And then you start realizing, well, they're both around the same grams of protein. They're both around the same calories. So they must be equally healthy. You'll see when I put my hand down, it makes the noise. But you start getting to that next level, and you're like, but the steak is the better choice because it's only one real ingredient, beef, protein powder. Like, not all brands, so we'll just say some whack brand. Probably the super cheap ones, because like the cheapest ones are like a lot of filler ingredients. Yeah. First of all, like most of them aren't FDA regulated or regulated at all. They're not third-party tested. You really don't know what's exactly going into it because there are a lot of like manipulate the percentages. Like there's not a lot of rules they have to follow. Natural flavors, artificial ingredients, artificial colors. So you start learning that, oh, it's not just about low calorie versus high calorie. It's also about quality of ingredients that make up those calories. And then when you get to that level, then you get to the next tier. And that next tier is almost like I'm not even fully in that tier yet because one, it costs money. You know?
Yeah.
2, I believe in nutritional freedom as well. Like I'm not gonna, if I want to enjoy something once in a while, that's, for example, energy drinks. You know, I went on that cleanse where I quit taking pre-workout. I stopped taking every single supplement. Literally, only drank coffee for caffeine and only ate real food, and I felt good. But my workouts, they just don't hit the same when I take a pre-workout, dude. Like, come on. Like, I'm a gym bro.
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. Is like we have to also recognize that there needs to be an aspect of fun and enjoyment in our lives. And of course, we want to live long and live a good life and have quality food in us and everything. But what's, spending 24/7 on every little detail of your nutrition, if you can't even like go out with friends or have fun, like that sucks. That's not a life worth living.
Exactly, dude. And that was kind of this point I got, like, building off of what you're saying goes per what I'm saying. So I drink an energy drink now and then, or I have pre-workout, and like, yeah, there's chemicals in it and all, but like the problem with society, I'll finish off the last topic so I don't get lost, but so that next tier of top tier health, which I'm partially in, but I don't know, I probably will never be fully in it because like I said, I have my guilty pleasures of sometimes I like to smash something that I know is unhealthy, but like you said, it brings other benefits to my life. Good socialization with my friends, good taste, it tastes good. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and act like some unhealthy foods don't fucking taste good. They taste good.
They taste great. Yeah.
That's why they're, so like you got to pick and choose, but that top tier of health, there's, and some of it almost becomes unhealthy because people become obsessive. And I don't think that's healthy at all, but that top tier of nutritional health is when everything's organic, all your meats are pasture raised or grass fed. Everything you buy is like one ingredient. And that's when you're at like an elite level of nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
But to circle back to our point, you should be partially in that bracket when you're pursuing a healthy lifestyle, but it comes on to your individual desires. So if you desire to live a life where that's how you live your life, like all power to you, like good for fucking you. Like that's awesome. Like no hate. But I tried doing that and I did do it for quite a period of time and I felt good. But like we were saying, it pulls away from certain social benefits, social or other like, just like overall like mental, all aspects of life, not even just social or like it's all things. So if you're to bring this full circle and wrap it up, as long as you're being aware of step 1, calories in versus calories out, 2, quality of nutrition, quality of your calories, and then 3, prioritizing if doable for you, because obviously there's a lot of, to get to that top tier elite level, there's finances involved and, you know, accessibility. Just some people just don't have access to it, you know, is like when that top tier elite level is like, you want to pull out from all those different levels of like nutritional health, but you also, drawing back is like, you shouldn't shame yourself or like guilt yourself if there's certain things you enjoy. So my point is, like you were saying about socializing and stuff to build up that, so many people focus on the little rocks of health,
yes,
instead of just prioritizing the big rocks first. And those people, that's where I was saying before, where the people who are obsessive, it's almost unhealthy because you're missing out on so many other great things. So like if you just prioritize the big rocks, like, because dude, the supplement industry is so corrupt, and like so many people hyper obsess over little things, like whether it be, all right, so we'll use the cold therapy for an example. If I had the money to buy a plunge, like I'd put one in my backyard. Like,
definitely.
They're expensive as hell. Like,
yeah,
I know I could get ice, bro. I don't want to hear it from the haters. Just, you know, but anyways, there's like people you'll see on Twitter and Instagram who don't even look that fit, who like live and die, like will like go to war over cold therapy, where it's like, bro, are you even getting quality sleep? Are you eating good nutritious food? Like, quit going to war over that. And then vice versa. There's people who go to war over, like, there's like a big war in the fitness industry of like artificial sweeteners versus real sugar. Yeah. It's like, why are you arguing about that? Like, if you don't have the other things in line, you know? So like, as someone pursuing a healthier lifestyle, you should prioritize the big rocks first, which is eating generally healthy, which is predominantly whole natural foods, prioritizing your sleep, 7 to 8 hours a night, daily activity or movement, like whether it's lifting weights, walking, hiking, like whatever you're into, you know what I mean? And then also your relationships and your relationship with yourself.
Definitely.
And if you prioritize those big rocks first, then you can start micromanaging. But the problem with internet, how we talked before we hopped on the podcast, is there's too much fucking information for people out there. So they get stuck. And we know people who like get stuck on trends so quick. Yeah. And they like have to ride that trend, and then that trend fails for them. So then they try a new trend, and then they try a new trend. It's like, if you would just focus on the big rocks first and then try to mix in those little trends. So like me, I'd hopped on the like predominantly red meat for a long time trend. It worked for me, but like I got sick of it. So I still eat steak, but it's just not like every single meal steak, you know? And that's what the problem I think is in this modern world, especially in the health industry, is that instead of focusing on the big rocks, people are just chasing instant gratification because they want the results right now. And it leads them in a worse place because they get this really high like rush that they're going to make a change. Right. And then when they realize it doesn't happen, it depletes them. And then it loses those little depletions compound, and then it gets to a point where they almost lose like faith and hope in that like healthier lifestyle journey, if that makes sense.
No, that definitely does. And we're both coaches, so we understand the importance of stacking those little wins. And we were talking about it on the drive over, giving our clients the opportunity to realize that they have the potential to do this, right? And continuing to give them words of affirmation, being positive, changing their self-talk. That is so, so important. And one thing I've heard before and really reminds me of everything you just talked about, a lot of people like to step over dollars to pick up pennies.
Yes, that's a great saying. I've heard that before.
So, for example, right? Say you're trying to lose weight, you want to get in better shape. I get it. That's like you said, that's probably 60, 70% of America right now.
We're 70, unfortunately.
And you think to yourself, like you see somebody on social media, right? Like to your point about information overload. There's always somebody screaming in your face that you need to do this. Like this is the optimal way of the life. Like you need to do this, blah, blah, blah. So let's say you see an influencer who's like hell-bent on fasted cardio. Okay.
That's a perfect one because you and I used to be glued to that.
Glued.
And when I was my most leanest, I never did fasted
cardio.
Yeah.
So it's like you could still achieve those same.
On that.
So like you said, the big pillars are what we need to focus on. That cardio, that 30 minutes of moving around in the morning. Don't get me wrong, daily activity is important. I think it's something you should do. But if you're so hyper focused on like, I need to make sure I'm doing the cardio, like how many calories are you really burning in that 30-minute session in reality? And it's really only like 400 to 500. And then you're not burning anything afterwards because you're not lifting weights. But what I'm saying is if you're getting up early to do fasted cardio, now, you know, you're only getting 6-7 hours of sleep to wake up early to do this cardio. It's this vicious cycle of like, now you're not being able to recover and regenerate and feel better with your immune system. Your muscles aren't able to grow. Your brain isn't able to get proper rest to actually function properly. So yeah, don't get me wrong, cardio is a great tool. But if, like you said, if we're trying to focus on these little sprinkles and like these things, almost like a cherry on top, just to skip over the most important pillar of health, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice. And it's like contradictory to what you're thinking it's doing. You're like, oh yeah, I'm doing cardio in the morning. I'm about to get shredded. I'm about to fucking kill it, blah, blah, blah. But now you just spent 3 weeks getting 6 hours of sleep. You feel like shit. Your body's depleted and, you know, you're worse off. Like you said, we're worse off than when you first started.
Yeah, dude, that's a great point. And we've lived it, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Many
you have
people
to
are going to keep living it because it just goes back to the information overload, man. There's just so many things grabbing our attention, you know, and it's really honestly frightening. I even myself, as someone who does social media for a living, get overwhelmed where I want to take my phone and grab my Glock and just empty the mag right into it because it just makes my head fucking spin because I'm trying to, because I'm a very hungry person for learning, like as you are, like, so when I see something that interests me, I get in these rabbit holes, dude, and I catch myself early, but most people don't. That's the problem with the world today is that people are so consumed. It's like that artist you always repost. Like he always talks about the technology is taking.
Oh, after school.
Yeah, and I catch myself early. I'm blessed that I catch myself early. But dude, I don't know about you, but like 5-10 minutes go by and I just stop and I'm just like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, like what are you even?
What
looking
are you doing?
at?
That means nothing to what you have to do right now. You went on Instagram to respond to potential clients and you're fucking in a rabbit hole about God knows what.
Yeah.
You know, like what are you doing?
Or you go on, oh dude, one rabbit hole you sent me down. You shared like Cringe Hub or something.
Oh,
bro, you know what I'm talking about?
That page is funny as hell.
Bro, it's so bad. Like it's just all these people. It's so many of those furries too that are like doing weird shit, like using a litter box as a grown ass adult. Like what am I watching? And I'm just scrolling down this and being like, the whole time, like, bro, what the fuck is this? And then next thing you know, I just wasted 30 minutes of my life looking at this. It contributed nothing except for just like pure cringe and entertainment. Yeah, dude, it's such a powerful tool and it grabs your attention like nothing we've ever seen before. How do you like wrestle with it? I know like we've talked about this before, but how do you balance your mental health out while being a content creator and having to deal with that, you know, that whole landscape?
All right. So for me, it's so weird to think now too, like now that I'm on your podcast again, like I can confidently say like I'm a content creator because in the past it used to be like, you were there for my whole evolution, dude. At first it was just like a for fun thing. Then it was like this will be my side hustle thing. And now it's like, fuck, dude, this is what I do.
Yeah.
You know? So, whoa, shit, my bad. I just
That's
kicked
all
the
right,
mic.
man. Yeah.
But for me, how I've learned to mentally balance is one, take care of the big rocks like we talked about earlier. You know me, I'm very serious about my sleep. I'm very serious about my nutrition. I'm very serious about my time management. I'm very serious about my exercise and working out. And also, I'm very serious with keeping healthy relationships with the people that matter in my life. You, my other friends, Maddie, my parents, G-Ma, even though I don't answer every call. My grandma calls me like four times a day. So those things that I just listed off keep me very grounded, and they keep me on path for my mission. So I know I said before I get in little rabbit holes, but that's not that frequent. It's not like an everyday reoccurring thing. So one, what I just listed, those things keep me grounded. So when I'm in the work mode, in the content world, you know, on the phone, because it's mostly all phone stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
At this point for me, obviously, the more I grow, like I might try to expand and edit on computers or whatnot. Who knows? But also, so building off of that, I set timers when I do like work. Like, so if I'm editing a food video, say it's 12:45, I'll set a timer for 2 p.m. I'm like, I have to have this done. But that way I know, like, that I shouldn't be closing off of my editing app to check Twitter, check Snapchat. So that's like good for time management is I set timers. And then also I don't read comments especially if so I'll read comments if like it's a post that doesn't do too well because there's only like 5 comments. But if something goes viral, like I just don't do it.
You know what's funny too is like
headache.
Yeah, for sure. And most of your viral stuff, it's usually ones that are controversial for some weird reason.
I got called before I get back sidetrack real quick. We're not gonna get into the whole rabbit hole on this topic because I don't know, we might both get canceled. But I made a Chipotle shredded beef video. I called it shredded Chipotle beef because last time I made a similar video like 2 years ago and called it barbacoa. People fucking lost their shit, dude. Like getting flamed. So I'm like, well, first of all, this one was a different recipe. It was slightly different. So I just called it shredded Chipotle beef, dude. I don't think much of it. Bro, I have people in the comments calling me racist, calling me cultural appropriation, saying I'm like, and I like multiple of them. I mean, thankfully, most of the people in the comments were cool and they were like checking them, you know, because I responded to one and I said, if I would have called this, like, you know, birria is like the trending, you know, the birria tacos.
Oh yeah. These
like
are the ones from Ola Tacos.
Yeah,
right?
they have those. So people were like, if I would have called it birria tacos or barbacoa, I commented this to someone. I said, listen, if I would have called this birria or barbacoa, I still would have got absolutely fucking flamed. It does because it doesn't have all the technicalities and all the ingredients that go into those recipes.
Yeah.
So regardless, I can't win here. Because if I would have called it those things, I still would have got destroyed.
Yeah.
If I didn't call it those things, I'm a racist and cultural appropriating or whatever that means.
Dude, I think that's such a ridiculous statement, culture appropriation. And don't get me wrong, like maybe we shouldn't be doing blackface or any of that crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like we're white guys, we're not allowed to have Mexican food, or like you're a chef, you're not allowed to make a different culture's food.
Yeah,
you
and it was like, and like, bro, like it was just so weird to me. It was only a few comments, but it's just like the fact that someone would like the fact that I'm getting called a racist on TikTok for making a recipe called Chipotle shredded beef. It just blows my mind. The internet's a crazy thing. But anyways, back to how do I manage myself? So one, set timers, keep my pillars that keep me grounded in my day-to-day stuff. And then also I really don't scroll much, to be honest with you. Like I don't. Instagram, if I had to pick my poison of social media platforms, because I'm on all of them now, like pretty actively.
Yeah.
Instagram's definitely my poison. I spend most time on Instagram. I try to stay off my phone after 8 p.m. and I don't touch my phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. I'm not perfect every day, but for most days I do pretty well.
Yeah.
And then I quit answering DMs unless it's business related. So that's another, because you'll see as you grow, you start getting like, you probably just get it now from your story, just people interacting with them. Like you can't keep up.
No.
Like you don't even have to have a big, like, I don't know how people have the mental capacity to just we all have a social battery as a human. And in this modern world, it drains so quick because there's so much going on. So like to protect my social battery, I can't even answer DMs anymore because it just drains me unless it's like a business opportunity or something serious. Like so when I have downtime, I'll read them. It's not that I like shun everywhere. Like it's not like I'm on here saying like, don't fucking DM me. Like, no, I love when people send me, because it makes me feel good. It feels good to read a DM from some stranger across the country. Like, hey, I really love your stuff. Like, it's very motivating, or you're helping me live a healthier lifestyle. Like, that shit's dope. I'm just generally speaking, on the day-to-day basis, I don't get consumed by my DMs. But if I have time and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just scroll through and read some, I will respond to people. But yeah, those are pretty much the things. So just grounded by my daily pillars, don't scroll too much, time management, and then just avoid the bullshit. So comments and unnecessary DMs. That's kind of how I protect my mental space.
Go ahead.
Sorry. And last one is I've gotten tremendously better at not comparing myself to other creators. Because that's a huge, dude, that used to ruin me.
Yeah.
I've learned that I finally come to terms that, like, you are because I'm guilty of it. Like, where I'm much better now, but I used to just like, why is this person's account growing so fast, or their videos are shitty compared to mine, and I'm like, I realize in the moment too, I realize it, but it's hard to just snap. We're not fucking robots.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm wasting time. I could be spending this time focusing on my craft and trying to improve my game on the internet space than dwelling on someone else and their success, you know? Because I get inspired by it. It's not like I'm a hater. Like, I don't hate on them. It's just more of a jealousy thing. You know what I mean? Like, I love, because when I see other people succeeding on social media, it tells me that I'm like, this shit's possible. Like, when I see people with even small accounts or small followings, like, making good money and having a happy living, it inspires me. Like, it's like not like out of a form of hate. It's out of a form of, damn, I wish I had that success already. So I gotten better at, like, not falling into the comparison trap, because that's what kills most early creators when they get started. Is anyone who wants to get into the creator space is the comparison trap. You just gotta do your best to free yourself from that trap.
It is really tough though, right? We have this natural instinct to want to compare ourselves to others, you know, whether that's others in our tribe or others in our niche who are trying to do a similar thing. It's like this internal dialogue where you're like, why am I not there yet? Like, I'm putting in all the work. I'm putting in all this work. I'm working daily. Like, I'm doing all this shit. Why am I not there yet? But you also have to realize, like, the person you're seeing on the screen who, you know, is doing kind of what you want to do, they've gone through so many steps to get there. Yes. Like, you did not see their buildup and how much shit they had to go through to actually get to that point. That's such an important piece. And like, something we talk about a lot is when we look at celebrities or people we look up to or anything, instead of saying like, oh, that person is other, like they're you know, you put them on a pedestal. It's like they're the same as you and me. Like, we're all human beings. We all had to make it from somewhere and figure this shit out. And yeah, like you said, it's hard to make that click. But when you continuously like have that dialogue with yourself saying, they had to build, they had to do the same thing I'm doing, I'm just in a different part of this process, and that's okay. And honestly, it made me think. So I'm reading this book right now by Bruce Lee, and I love it. Like, I'm, you know how I am, like, very into meditation and like spirituality and all that stuff. So he talks about the 3 stages of life. So the first stage is basically like infancy, or you're just kind of like us, you know, going through high school. You're just kind of doing it. You're like so in the moment. You're not even really thinking about what you're doing. You're just having fun, having a good time. And then you kind of start getting into college and into the real world. And then there's this stage of art, as Bruce Lee calls it. So this stage is where you're gathering your tools, you're learning skills that make you a better person. You're learning how to live, basically. Like, whether that's mentally, physically, whatever, you're learning all those tools. And in that process, there's a lot of fear, doubt, confusion, and really thinking like, am I on the right path? Like, is this something I want to do? And there's other days where you're like, fuck yeah, I'm the best ever. And then there's other days where you're like, dude, I hate myself. Why am I even doing this? And it's, you know, it's that up and down. And then after years and years of hard work and training, you reach this stage of artlessness, which is instead like you're kind of going back to that infancy stage, but with everything you learned in that stage of art. So it's like instinctual to be a good human being, or it's instinctual because you've built that habit over that stage of art to go work out or to go meditate or to do these other things that serve you as a human being. And that really resonated with me because that stage of art is where we're in right now. And it's really hard to not go, I want to be in that top tier level. I want to be an expert. I want to be the man. And that's a good thing to strive for. But you have to recognize where you are, the awareness of, okay, this is where I'm at in life. I can accept that. And let's just keep doing what I need to do to get to the place I want to be at.
That's fucking facts, man. That's resonates with the voice message you sent me.
Yeah,
Luke.
yeah.
I listened to it a little late, but I listened.
When I first read it, I'm like, I gotta share with you and Luke, like that. This is something that they definitely feel, because you know we surround ourselves with people who have a purpose and who have drive and who want to make something of themselves in this life, and not for the fact of like, oh, I want to leave this legacy and I want to be remembered forever. It's just like, no, I just want to live this life to the fullest possible extent I can. That's the most important piece, I think, for all of us. And thank God I have you guys to bounce ideas off of and just connect with, because if I didn't have that, I might be in that stage of art and say, fuck it, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm hanging it up. But I know that I got like you guys still doing this stuff. And if I quit, I'm not only letting myself down, I'm letting my tribe down too.
That's facts, man. And it is. It's an interesting thing. And I want to go back to the point you brought up about self-awareness, because in that stage where you start feeling self-aware of things, and I think that's another big piece that's missing in this modern world, and why most people are unhappy, unhealthy, you know, kind of trapped going through the motions of life, because they're just unaware of it. You know, they don't even know any better. I know because I've lived it before. I grew up like that in a lot of time periods of my life. And when people ask me, even my clients, for fitness and health, because it's almost like mindset coaching too. You know how it is. When you're helping someone with their health and fitness, you're also helping them sharpen their mind, because, I mean, I'm not going to speak for Trevor, but for myself personally, I built my mindset through developing my physical features, my body, through training hard and playing, you know, football and being pushed and having to work hard and, you know, establish myself as a teammate and a leader amongst others. And that helps sharpen the mind. But the first thing I tell people, regardless of what you're trying to fix in your life, it could be your health issues, your financial issues, relationship issues, you have to first become self-aware that it is an issue. And most people just love pushing self-awareness to the back burner, and I don't even think they know they're doing it. They're just going through the motions. And the moment you become self-aware, you unlock freedom, because now you know, oh, I can do something about this. I don't like this about my physical feature. I can change this. I don't like that my bank account looks like this. I can go change it. I don't like that this is what I do for a living. I can go change it. But it takes confidence. It takes courage. It's scary to become, because that's another, dude, it's hard to, the truth hurts. That's why that's a saying. It's hard. People go through life thinking it's easier to avoid the truth, but I think it's actually easier to accept the truth and start building on that, because when you take full self-responsibility, which you develop through becoming fully self-aware, you accept that everything good and bad that happened to you are your fault. And then you don't have to rely on external things to validate you. Like, yeah, some freak shit could happen and could fuck your day up. You know, a tornado could hit us right now and wipe us out of the studio. That's obviously not our fault. But if you shift your perspective, like, well, it was my fault for being at the studio at that time. You know, there's nothing I could do about it. But I can, thank God I didn't die. I'm still alive from that tornado that wiped us out, and I could just proceed forward.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot to get to that level, and I think to get to that mindset, you got to put yourself through adversity. And we live in a world where people run. When adversity shows up, they run, dude.
Well, it's also hard to find adversity outside of sport in modern civilization.
Well, that and the adversity they seek, as human beings, we're designed to overcome adversity in one way or another. And now it's like the adversity that's being drawn upon society is like, there's literally people that still have to hunt for their food every day. And you're bitching about, like, I don't even know, like a parking spot or something. You know what I mean? It's like the things that give humans adversity in the modern world, not all humans. Obviously, there's people who voluntarily do it. But for most people, it's like these first world issues that people bitch about is so pathetic to me. It's like, what are you doing? Like, where's your gratitude for the fact that you even have the ability to bitch about that problem? Like someone going out to dinner and letting their whole day be ruined because their steak was overcooked. Like, yeah, it sucks. You know, it sucks the steak was overcooked, but self-responsibility. You chose to eat at that restaurant. You chose to order that steak. It is what it is. It fucking sucks. Get over it. It's the same thing. Like, people let such minuscule problems scale into these ginormous issues. It's almost like you said, it's the opposite. They're stepping over pennies to pick up dollar problems.
Yeah.
The opposite of what we were saying earlier. And it's just like, why are you doing that to yourself? And people don't know because they're not self-aware.
Yeah. Dude, that's such a good point. There's a couple of things I want to expand on. So, like you mentioned, with that self-awareness comes the opportunity to accept where you're at in life. And dude, that's like probably 90% of the battle, right? Like, it's easy to make a change after you accepted where you are in life, but the first part is accepting that you're fucking up. Like, that is such a hard thing to accept. Like, because you think, you know, you want to, going back to my thing about like, oh yeah, I'm the man, whatever. If you're constantly in that state of mind, like, you are never going to grow. So I'm also grateful for having that mindset of like, I'm kind of a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong. I think self-talk is important, but there's a lot of times where that motivation, that internal motivation drives me to do something that I know I need to get done. I'm going off on a tangent a little bit, but what I'm saying is that acceptance piece has got to be, like you said, it's got to be the first part. It's got to be that first, like, this is where I'm at, and then let's move forward. And there was another thing that you talked about, and something I wanted to just like really dissect, is damn it, dude, I forgot. What was the last thing you said in that rant? Do you remember?
Self-awareness. Self-responsibility.
That's what happens when we talk too much and we go on tangents.
That's okay. It's okay. We'll come back to it.
Yeah,
it'll come back.
Anyways, yeah, like, oh, okay. I remember what I was going to say. So you were saying, like, people stress about these minuscule problems when there's so many bigger problems out there in the world. But that's your perspective on the person going through that. That might be the worst thing that they've had to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
They grew up with everything they could have possibly wanted, you know, a nice household, never had to worry about anything, never put themselves in any adversity, whether through sport or challenging themselves in school or literally anything. And now they're sitting like super pretty in life, have everything handed to them, but now they're super stressed out and super anxious about a fucking steak getting overcooked.
Yeah.
And it's like that small problem is huge to them because they've never dealt with anything bigger than that.
Yeah. It's quite disturbing.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. That's why I think it's so important we continue to do things that, you know, provide us adversity in our challenge, like creating this podcast. This shit wasn't easy. This wasn't like I just, you know, went online for an hour and said, let me create this podcast. Like, no, this took months and months. Shit, it's been years of work now.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a while to get to this point.
And
you still got so much to go.
Dude, so much to go. I'm not even close to where I want to be. And that's the fun part about it. But if I was to never, like, if I never wanted any adversity in my life and I just wanted to go to my job, come home to Carly, do nothing, eat food, then that would be my life. And that would...
And that would lead to a life of misery.
It would.
Because I think to enter into another topic, because everything you said was great. So to build off of what you just said there, go to your job, go home to Carly, watch TV, eat dinner, go to bed, recycle. You lose in that cycle purpose. And I think I made a post about it on my philosophy page the other day about how not every problem in your life, but most problems in an individual's life would be fixed if they became purpose-driven over pleasure-seeking. Because if you have purpose, you will naturally pursue things that are for that greater purpose to make it become your reality. You'll naturally eat healthier. You'll naturally take better care of your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. you'll naturally keep doing things and progressing step by step, no matter how small they are, in the direction because you're driven by your purpose. If you don't have purpose and you lack purpose in your life, you resort to pleasure seeking, instant gratification, instant hits of dopamine, drugs, alcohol, sex, and all those kind of things, TV, entertainment. And when you do those kind of things, it's only pulling you further away from becoming a purpose-driven individual. And then that's where self-awareness needs to kick in. But when you get too far to the other spectrum, dude, it gets hard. And I've seen it with people in my own life and people today, and the way the modern world's going with technology and cheap dopamine at the tip of your fingers everywhere you go. It's scary to see where people are going to end up. And it's going to create a huge divide between society of those who do and those who don't. And that is definitely something that worries me for the future. Not just for you and I, but our generations to come. You know, what is this world going to be 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, when anything your human desires, you know, pursue can just be instantly given to you at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah.
To build, just a quick story, dude. I was listening to a podcast, a Joe Rogan podcast, and they were talking about AI and how, like, it's rapidly growing too fast and it could be a downfall of humanity, which, if you think about it, is pretty fucking scary. Anyway, there was a business who provided AI-generated girlfriends or boyfriends, like partners, whatever you're into. And the company was getting, like, backlash, and they realized how, like, kind of like, that's not real human interaction, like, whatever. So they shut it down. And this is, if someone out here goes and fact check me, I don't know the exact details, but this is the gist of it. And the owner of that company or website or whatever it was receiving, like, harmful threats by, like, his customers because they were claiming that he took away their partner and took away their relationship and killed their love life. Like, there was actual human beings out there in love with a robot, or not even a real person. They were in love, man. Like, that's scary, bro. Scary.
It is scary. It's also a testament to where we are in society with technology, social media, dating apps. We've turned this dating market into, like, you know how you say there's plenty of fish in the sea. Motherfucker, if there's too many fish in the sea, like, you're screwed. Like, you're not going to get a good fish. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're constantly looking at the fish and going, I don't know. I don't like this. Let me throw it away. And we've gotten away from, like, creating these connections and bonds that are real. So it doesn't surprise me that and I heard that same story. I listened to that episode.
Yeah,
it was cool.
It's fucked up.
It wasn't cool. It was actually really scary. But it makes so much sense because those are probably people who don't have connections in their life.
No.
And that's all they have. And it's really, really sad to see because it's pushed on us. It's pushed on us through social media. You know, when you're young, like, how common is it for kids our age to be on Tinder or be on Hinge or be on any of those dating apps and just, like, constantly seeking that quick pleasure or that, you know, that hookup or whatever it is, just to be left off worse than before they even met somebody, because they're both just looking for something quick, really fast, happens. You have no connection with that person, and then you kind of feel, like, shitty about yourself. And it's sad that's where we're at right now, but that's why I even created this podcast. Like, you talk about purpose. I don't care if 2 people listen to this. I hope I impact these 2 people to think a little bit differently.
We got to get more than 2 guys. Come on.
Oh, right. Sure.
Give us more than fucking
I'm just
2,
lowballing
please.
right now to make a point here.
I know. I'm fucking with you. Better be more than 2 motherfuckers. Come on.
But seriously, it's I want to create conversations that invoke thoughts and reactions in people's minds that they never had before. And then that leads them on a better path. And that's a lot of what you're doing too with, you know, you're sharing your lifestyle, your healthy habits, your workouts, your meals, and you're impacting these people on a level that isn't just physical or nutritional. It impacts everything. Because like you said, when you have those pillars in place, everything in your life goes so much better. So the fact that we even have that inclination in our body, that inner fire of, like, I feel like we have a word to share and we need to get it out there. And what better opportunity than right now in today's day and age? So on one hand, I'm like, we're all fucked. On another hand, it's an unbelievable opportunity for people like us to fight back and create a community of people who are savages, for lack of a better term, like absolute savages in life who just not take what they want. That's a terrible term for it, but actually live out the life that they want to live. Just pursue it and not care about what other people think, or if it's the, you know, the safe move, or if this is going to earn me a bunch of money. Like, if you have some internal fire, like, figure it out, work out your life in a way that you can do that. And that's all I want. Like, that's what I feel like we're doing with the content we're creating, with the conversations we have, all that stuff. And I think it's a really, really important job that our generation needs to pick up on.
100%, man. And the thing is, why people like you and I and many others who are doing these kind of things and having the confidence to put themselves out there and share their thoughts and their emotions and their lifestyle and everything in between, is because if we don't do it, someone's got to do it. You know what I mean? Because we're at a point in civilization where, you know the saying, tough times make strong people make easy times make weak people, something like that. And we're right now in the
weak people make tough times, and we're in the tough times right now.
Yes, exactly. We're in the tough times right now. And, you know, I know technology and social media gets a lot of slander, but it can be a great tool to reach people. I utilize it. I know there might be clips of me somewhere on a podcast or something, but like demonizing it. But no, I stand confidently now and say social media can be a great thing if you're utilizing it correctly. It's like anything in life. Everything in life is a double-edged sword the way you look at it.
Yes.
And people like you and I, and like I said, many others who are putting themselves out there and spreading a positive message and trying to help people unlock their inner potential is necessary. We need it because we're in tough times right now, and it's only gonna get tougher. So, like you said, God, I fucking hope more than 2 people listen. But even if 2 people start thinking differently about the way they go about their life, and then they convince another 2 people, and then another 2 people, and another 2 people, and another 2 people, and so on and so on, and 100 people, 1,000 people, hundreds of thousands of people, you never know what can happen. And it all just starts with just, you just got to do it. You got to become self-aware of what you want out of this life, and you got to do it. And it doesn't mean getting on social media, doing a podcast, creating content. Go back to your community in your day-to-day life. How are you treating the people in your work environment? How are you treating your family? How are you treating your friends? How are you treating yourself? And if you start from the community within your community, I'm not saying your whole city, but just the people in your, as you would say, tribe, your inner circle, and expand that, it goes a long ways. I think as humanity, we got away from being humanity. Like, I'm guilty of it. You know, like I'll wear headphones in the store. I'm not proud of it. I don't do it all the time. But if you go to a fucking Costco or something and just look around, no one like smiles anymore. No one really interacts. Some people do, but most people just look unhappy, miserable. They're there. They don't want to be bothered. They're just there to get what they need to get and get out. And humanity has gotten so far away from community in our lifetime. The world has changed. Even I talked to my papa the other day. I think he's like 76. And even we were talking about life, and he was saying, we were talking about how, and he was agreeing with me, how the world has changed more in the last like 20 years than the last like 200 years.
Definitely.
And just because when we were kids, obviously we didn't grow up together, but bro, I would go outside, dude, we'd be 20, 30 people deep, kids just running around, doing stuff, you know, whatever, shooting hoops,
I
skateboard.
never see kids outside anymore.
Dude, never. I took Maddie, we went and looked at all my old houses from growing up. No, it was a nice day too, sunny out, nobody, just a ghost town. I'm like, damn, when we were kids on this kind of weather, hoops would be up to the street, we'd be playing basketball, baseball, whatever, like just doing stuff. People would be outside doing yard work or something, like community. And we've strayed away from community and human connection. And you know, we have this tool of social media and the internet, so it's like it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's like, all right, at least use it for a purposeful manner. And if you can build these online communities but implement it into your real world, you can make a tremendous difference. But the point is, like, we were talking about your podcast, and you did this, and you're still nowhere near where you want to be, but you're already making a difference. Me creating content, like, whatever, you know, we both create content. You know what I mean? The point is that you don't have to be on the internet to make a difference. You can start right now with what you're doing and the way you carry yourself in your day-to-day life. And it just, if you don't do it, you know, you got to think about humanity as a whole. Like, I think about that. It's kind of fucked up, but I'm like, this isn't just about me. Like, this is like humanity. And then I think even crazier. I'm like, in the grand scheme of things, we're all just one speck of this earth. Like, no one knows what the fuck's gonna happen. But it's like, at least if I know when I die, I was a genuine good person and help positively impact the lives of others, like, I can die a happy man. And I don't know if many people in this modern world can say that. Like, they can die a happy person, you know, knowingly that they spent the majority of their life depressed, bitching, complaining about their circumstances, and doing nothing about it.
Yeah. Damn, dude. That is very true. I love that you said, like, okay, so something I live by a lot, and whether that's when I leave this studio or when I leave this life, like, I just want to leave whatever I touched a little bit better than before I got there.
The Joe Schaefer.
The Schaefer
Shout out
mentality.
Joe Schaefer.
And yeah, to your point about social media, and this actually ties into that Bruce Lee book I was reading about. Everyone wants to label these things as good and bad. So a lot of people are like, social media bad. It just, I mean, don't get me wrong. They're all valid points. Like, it distracts people. It, you know, people who are on their phone for 12, 14 hours a day just looking at reels nonstop or living on TikTok.
And online bullying and all those things are real things. There are real problems. Like I said, double-edged sword.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, double-edged sword. Great way to put it. But what the Bruce Lee book was talking about is there's such a difference between American culture and, you know, Eastern culture, where Eastern cultures, they don't really look at things as good and bad or, you know, this and that. Think of the yin and the yang, right? They're all one together. Like, it's not black and white. There's so much gray area. And that's the same thing with social media is, yeah, it can be good. It could be really bad, but reality is it's really in the gray area, and it's how you utilize it. And to your point, if you're someone who wants to give back to the community, who cares about their inner circle, and who really tries to provide value to others around them, that can reverberate online too, if you choose to do that. And then, like I said, like you said, actually, is you don't have to do that. It's, you know, if you don't feel like creating a podcast or creating content, like, you don't have to do that. That's just something we felt called to do. So we decided to do it and, you know, push that message because it is really important, man. It is super important. Like I was just saying.
Yeah, man. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing, this thing called life. But we can only just keep proceeding forward and, you know, doing our part in what we feel is right, and hope others do the same. And that's another thing too, I guess we can talk about, is because when we're on top of like, or black and white and like gray area between society, like, it's so, the world is like making us choose in every issue. It's not just one, but it's like, well, if you're not this, you're that. It's like, well, no, I'm neither. You know, regardless of the topic, I'm not going to get into all these issues. I don't even like talking about them, so I'm not going to do it. But it's just like, as a human individual, to not fall into the trap of that, where you're labeled something or you're one or the other, you got to stand for yourself, and you got to create your own like idea of what life means to you. And that circles back to self-awareness, finding purpose. And that's how you avoid falling into the trap of whatever this modern world trap is. I mean, there's no perfect way to describe it. There's no way to describe it because it's something we've never seen before. You know, if there's people from 200 years right now, like, watching us humans interact, they would be shitting bricks because they're just like, what the fuck is going on? You know,
that's so true.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't have an answer, but the best thing as we're doing right now is this: you prioritize yourself and you become your best self, and then you give your best self to those around you, and then you only hope that you can influence them to become their best selves. And that's the root of making a difference. Not, you know, going on the internet and gluing yourself to one stance and telling everyone else who doesn't agree with your stance that they're a piece of shit and they need to die. Because that's
a lot.
I post fucking food videos and fitness stuff, and I've had people tell me to die. Because I call them a nerd. I'm like, you are a fucking nerd. You just told me to die for the internet, nerd. Seriously, dude, like what the fuck? If he hears this and comes, fuck, dude, I might have just fucked myself.
Why, you got a stalker?
I don't know, dude. I take that back. Whoever you are, you're not a nerd. I called the dude a nerd, dude. He fucking told me to drink bleach and die, and like emailed me like a few times like death threats. But no, but anyways,
it is not that serious.
No,
that is crazy.
Not that fucking serious. If you're listening to this, dude, just don't fucking, just take it easy. Let's take it easy. A lot of people don't take it easy, man.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people are so
Just
uptight.
chill.
And back again, purpose. So most humans who aren't purposeful within their self and their own mission in life, they seek it from other things. That's why people are so glued to ideologies in the modern world, and they will live and die by them before even worrying about their physical health, their mental health, their emotional health. They invest all their energy into their opinion, where, especially on the internet, like, because most of these people are just internet warriors. Like, they don't really do it in the real world.
No, of course not.
No, and then they wonder why they're miserable and unhappy. It's like, put your social opinions, your political opinions, your, all those opinions aside, and like take a look in the mirror of your own actual life. Am I happy? Do I enjoy what I do? Am I healthy? Do I have a healthy relationship with those around me that I care about? Do the people who care about me think I'm in a good state of mind? Like, if everyone just reverted back to worrying about their self first and putting their self first to become the best they could be, the world would be a perfect fucking place, man. Not perfect, nothing's perfect. It'd be a great place. It's still a great place now. Don't get it twisted. I think the world's a beautiful place, and I'm blessed to be alive and be on this earth. But just from what's accessible to us, information overload, we know fucking every single thing. We don't even know what's true or what's not true. It makes you start to think like, damn, what is life? Like, is this it? But in the grand scheme of things, it's still a beautiful thing. We get to be here. We're breathing. We get to socialize. We get to have these interactions. You can travel. You can fucking eat crazy food. Like, life's a great fucking thing. It's a beautiful place. It's just a perspective thing too that it boils down to. But it does pain me. And I was talking with Maddie about it today. It truly pain me just seeing how much pain so many humans are in, and they exert that pain through being glued to opinions, shitting on others, like zero, like self-respect. Like, self-respect stems from taking care of yourself. It's simple as that. If you don't agree with me, you're fucking lying. Self-respect stems from taking care of yourself.
Definitely.
Quit worrying about what everyone else is doing and just take care of yourself. Because if you're taking care of yourself, you might start being able to have open discussions about things you might disagree about. You and I disagree at times.
Definitely.
I disagree with my parents sometimes. I disagree with people all the time. But I've never once had like heated discussions where, like, you know what I mean? It's just so strange to me how people get so wrapped up and consumed in ideologies and things that in the grand scheme of things really don't mean that much on the day-to-day basis. It's like, take care of yourself and your what's in front of you, as Joe Shape would say. We're giving Joe Shape shout outs today, man.
Dude, he has impacted us
Great
so
guy.
much, man.
But put your head where your fucking ass is, Quit worrying about everything else that doesn't matter to you right now in that moment, and be present with what you're at and what you can currently control in that current moment. But it's just weird. Like, I think one of the biggest problems in the world today is too many people care about what other people are doing, and it's just, I don't know about you, but like, I'll speak for you because I know you'll agree with, like, how do we don't even have time to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time to have a 3-hour discussion with someone about, like, what the fuck's going on the other side of the world. It's just, but people will live and die by it. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I think it's okay to not have an opinion about things.
Well, no, not in this modern world. If you don't have an opinion, you're wrong and you're evil and you need to die.
Yeah, that is so true. Or you're a racist too.
Yeah, you're
makes Chipotle beef race.
Yeah,
videos.
fucking yeah, it's crazy. Like, but you're either one or the other, and if you're not one or the other, you need to die. You need to burn in the pits. That's society now. It's crazy.
I know you say it's society now, but I truly believe with social media, the people on either side, whether that's left, right, whatever you want to, frame it as, they're the loudest voices on each side. And then there's this 90% in the middle who are like you and me, who have a lot of gray area, who really don't know what to think about certain issues, certain topics. We don't have enough information to even make a decision.
Exactly.
And that's okay, because we're focused on other things that impact our lives. And to your point, creating your own environment. That's what I like to think about a lot, is like creating your own garden in your own environment. dude, I've shouted out Bruce Lee a lot. So one of his famous quotes is like, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in war. I like to look at that quote in two different ways. So obviously you want to prepare yourself for war, learn how to do self-defense tactics, and be physically fit, all those things that we obviously care about and do. But the second piece of it is we aren't in war right now. We happen to be in the garden. So we are the warrior in the garden. And you also have that opportunity to make it a beautiful garden. You had the opportunity to choose who you spend your time with, to choose how you want to create your life. This life is experienced through your consciousness and your consciousness alone. So it's your responsibility to make it the best possible life it can be. And that, that starts with, like, I mean, we're just reiterating a lot of what we said.
It's all right. This stuff needs to be heard.
Exactly. And you can't say it enough. Taking care of your physical body.
We need to hear it.
Exactly. It's always nice to remind ourselves. Taking care of your mental aspect in life, right? Like your mental health. And that's another, I'm going off a lot of tangents here, but you brought up the pleasure versus purpose conversation. And I love, like, so true. Couldn't agree more with a lot of what you said. But to dive even deeper on that topic, you can be so purpose driven that you're not paying attention to a lot of the things that do matter in life. And I think that's part of reframing your purpose too, right? If you're so focused on, like, my purpose is building a business, that's all I care about. And now you have no time for those things that are pleasurable, or you go out to dinner with your wife, or you have, a chat session with the boys, or you're smoking some weed and hanging out and having a good time. Like, those things are still important in life too. And that's a big part of my purpose, is creating relationships with people and having a good time and having fun and enjoying life. Like, that has to be part of your purpose too. Because if you're so, like, I feel like it's either side. If you're so hyper focused on either side, whether that's purpose or pleasure, your life is going to be miserable, in my personal opinion, because you're either going to burn out and, like, absolutely hate what you do, and now the purpose that you were going towards is something you don't even want to do anymore, or you're so focused on pleasure you never do anything to, like, actually build your life and do that type of stuff. And on that point too is when you find something, like, in the middle, and it varies, like, it ebbs and flows all the time, and you and I both know this. Like, sometimes we get so wrapped up in our work and it's like, dude, I gotta take a break, I gotta take a rest. Or there's other times where we're like, all right, maybe I've been resting a little bit too much, I gotta get on my shit.
I've been one lazy motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. But when we actually, like, find that good middle ground, it makes the things that are pleasurable so much more pleasurable. Like taking a day off work, right? Like, I'm off today. This would not feel as good if I didn't work my ass off all week. You know what I mean? If I didn't grind editing videos on the podcast, like, that is what makes those pleasurable things pleasurable. So yeah, there's got to be purpose involved too. There's got to be something, like, to my point about gray area, there's got to be something in the middle that fits your life and lifestyle. And it's important to, you brought this up earlier, it's important to not compare your life to other people, because then they're going to be directing that path instead of you creating that life for yourself.
Dude, that was very well said, because I'm glad you touched on that, because that was something after we had that conversation I was thinking about, because I don't want people to get my message twisted. So to build off of what Trevor was saying, when I say purpose driven over pleasure seeking, what I mean by that, like how Trevor said, part of your purpose is pleasure. So what I want to say is, when you are truly purpose driven over instant pleasure seeking, you will then reveal true pleasure in life. Does that make sense? So when I compare purpose versus the pleasure, I'm talking the instant pleasures, unhealthy food, cheap entertainment, porn, sex. Though I'm talking those instant pleasures. So when you're purpose driven, you unlock the real pleasures of life, fulfillment, love, whatever it is that you're pursuing, like you said, a dinner with your wife or girlfriend, hanging out with the boys. Like, you unlock those true pleasures that are so much more meaningful and that actually they're purposeful pleasures. That's a good way to put it. That's like when you chase your true purpose, you get purposeful pleasure.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way
because
to frame it.
I don't want people to think that I mean like, oh, head to the grindstone, grind, nothing else. Because you're right. If you are so locked in into, say, we'll use the business and only building your business, and you miss out on your relationships, your friendships, just doing things you enjoy. Like there's no perfect job where you love every single day.
No.
People who say that, like, well, I never even heard someone say it, but oh, excuse me, dude, I got the fucking burps. But yeah, you can't just be part of your purpose, like Trevor was saying, needs to include getting that true purposeful pleasure as well. You got to eliminate the instant pleasures, the cheap gratification that stand between you and getting actual meaningful, pleasurable purpose or purposeful pleasure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. For sure. It's going to be like the bachelor party. And
fuck yeah, dude. It's going to be a great time. Because, like, dude, think about it in your life. Like, I know me personally, when I look back, not recently, because I've been much more intentional with my life and I've, you know, grown up a ton and just grown as an individual, but we'll use 3 summers ago. Like, I was going, when you first moved out, and I was going downtown like every weekend, instant gratification or instant pleasure. I was getting nothing. I had no money. And I was spending money.
Was it even instant pleasure though? Was there any pleasure involved in that process?
No pleasure, because I'm chasing instant pleasure, but I'm not even getting anything. I'm getting fucked up, terrible, you know, alcohol, spending money I don't have, Ubering home, looking in the mirror, asking myself, why the fuck did I do that? Waking up and feeling like shit, so having a shitty day after.
Yeah.
All in pursuit of instant pleasure. It's the same thing with the fucking porn industry. We'll touch on that. So we're both men here. Well, women watch it too, but from a male perspective, I guess. Like, I remember in college, I used to tell myself, and I have a very healthy relationship now, so don't think I'm still like, I'll admit it though, like, it was like cool to watch porn. Like, you shoot the shit with your boys, you're like you talk about porn.
Yo, check this chick out.
Bro, I beat my dick 3 times today. Like, you know what I mean?
I hit the hat trick.
Yeah, I hit the hat trick. Like, that shit, you used to think, like, we were like, society, like, makes you think, like, oh, that shit's cool. Like,
but it's also natural as, like, we're teenage boys with tons of testosterone and we're just, like, coming into our bodies. So this thing that's on our phone that we're on all the time, so easily accessible. Like, we have more access to more naked women than kings back in, like, the 1600s ever even could fathom. So
anything you want, it's there. Like, anything you're interested. But that's the point I'm trying to make is, in college, I would literally tell myself, why do I need a girlfriend? I could just watch porn. Like, that's such a fucking terrible mentality. And so many young men have that mentality now. And it ruins, one, the pleasure with a woman as a man is, porn doesn't even compare. It's not even comparable. No. But you don't know that until you're, you know, have a woman that you're making love with, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I used to have that mentality that, and in college I was a healthy, like, I wasn't a bad person. I wasn't a loser or anything. I was pretty much very similar to now, just way less mature.
With a shaved head.
Yeah, a shaved head, but, you know, but, like, still, like, I had that mentality of, I don't need a girlfriend right now. Like, I could just watch porn. There's fucking millions of fucking chicks on the internet. Anything I want to look at, I could see.
Yeah.
And that's so fucked up, dude, because it's just one that's just new. Like I said, with my papa, the world changed more in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But 2, it made me, not me, luckily, I got out of that pretty quick. I'm not anywhere near those habits or do any of those things anymore. But, like, it ruins your social skills with whatever you're into. You know, I don't care what you're into, male, female, whatever. But, like, for me personally, that mentality did back then ruin your social skills with girls, because you don't even have to. You already implanted in your mind, like, I don't even need to talk to girls. Like, I don't need to attract them because I can just fucking watch porn. Like,
yeah.
And it's not that I was ever weird with chicks, dude. Like, you know what I mean? But it's just the point.
Mr.
The point.
Makeout Lord.
No, what the fuck? Why do you gotta, dude? My girlfriend's gonna listen to this.
Back in early college, come on, man.
I know, she doesn't care. No, she might care. Fuck it. Anyway, the point is though that so many young men and women, I can't speak for women because I'm not a woman, but, like, just the porn topic, it's just, like, it's sickening. Like, like, you know, I'm not gonna brag here, but, like, I had my shit pretty together at that stage of my life. Like, most people, like, I had my shit together, but that was just one way I thought. I'm like, why do I need to, like, why do I need a girlfriend? I could just fucking beat my dick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no,
and that's
so common.
bad. Yeah, it's so common, and that's just so fucked up. I can't, like, when I reflect, I'm like, I can't believe I thought that way. That I don't need real human connection with a woman because I could just look at the internet. It's not even, it's fucked up. And studies come out now that are even real studies, like relationships are now getting ruined because of the porn industry. Like a man, I can only speak for men. I feel like I have to reiterate that because some people, what do you mean? Like, no, I'm only speaking from my state of mind as a man.
Yeah.
Like, not me personally, but studies came out, like men who are in relationships, who are consistently watching porn all the time, it has a detrimental impact on their relationship because they're losing attraction, even if they're not aware of it, to their actual partner through the fantasies they're seeing on their phone screen.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's fucked up, dude. And now with OnlyFans and like, I'm not shaming anyone who does. You do you. I worry about myself. I'm just generally speaking on the topic of the porn industry, of how it's harmfully impacting young men. And I was like one of them, at a point in my life.
Dude, we both were, and I can be vulnerable.
Dude, and 99% of the people we probably know were like, it's just,
of course,
it's so normal.
It's
so normalized.
It's 100% normalized, and people don't even realize it. It's definitely the most watched thing on the internet, like easily.
Dude, without it, there was that documentary on Pornhub or on Netflix about Pornhub.
Oh, really? I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but it wasn't about what we're talking about. I think it was actually quite the opposite. Like, Pornhub got in trouble, but they did talk about how Pornhub was like during COVID, when COVID started, their numbers went through the roof. Dude.
Oh, dude, I bet.
Motherfuckers were beating their dicks. It's fucking crazy.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry for talking about this topic.
No,
it
that's
does
okay.
need
No,
to be
it's
heard by young
important.
men, because most of our audience is probably younger humans and mostly men. So, like,
No, definitely.
hey, if you're beating your dick every day, take a break.
Definitely.
Go outside, touch grass,
For sure.
grill a steak. You'll feel better.
Go to the gym. No, I'll be vulnerable and talk about my experience with porn too, because it is, like you said, it's so important to talk about because it's so rampant in our society, and like you said, it's normalized. Like, a teenage boy does watch porn. Like, you think about it, back in the day, how hard was it to find like a cover photo of some nude girl? You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
Real quick, just to tap in real quick to a crazy statistic. That one girl from Dr. Phil, what the fuck's her name?
Bad Baddie.
Bad Baddie. That fucking girl.
I knew that's who you were
Yeah,
talking about.
bro, when she made an OnlyFans at 18 years old, I don't know the numbers. She made like 50 million, dude, in 1 month. Think about how, like, that's just so gross.
Terrible, man.
That's so gross. And she's just one example of, I don't know, there's got to be thousands of chicks making over $1 million a year from OnlyFans. But
Definitely.
think about it, like, that's how bad porn corrupted the mind, is like, people are spending their paychecks for false reality, to feel like they could go watch porn for free, but it got to a point in society where, well, free porn's not enough. I want it more intimate. I want this girl to say my name.
That's what I'm saying, is like, you need that, you're thirsty for that connection. Like, human beings, we have this need for human connection. Like, think about jail. What's the worst sentence you could possibly get? Solitary confinement.
Oh.
Like, you're not with anybody. You don't get to go out and socialize. Like, you are literally by yourself in one room, and that's it.
Yeah, dude.
So we still had this need for connection, but now we're getting it through our phones. And I think Andrew Huberman talked about this, and I'm sorry, I'm a meathead, like, trying to reiterate a PhD discussing brain chemistry. But so we have that dopamine release, right? Obviously, when we're looking at our phone or jerking off, whatever, we get that dopamine release immediately. But what we don't get is another chemical, and I'm going to say oxytocin, but that might be wrong. But we don't, like, get a full balance of chemicals in our brain when we partake in that online, through our fingertips, instead of like a human connection and with people. It's like incomplete. So we're always left needing more and more and more and more. And then as you get deeper into that porn, your sensitivity goes down, and it's like, you need to keep watching like more extreme porn and more extreme porn, and it's fucked up, but that's just like, it's just what happens. And I can speak to, like, when I was younger, maybe like 15 or 16. I mean, dude, like I said, we're teenage boys. Like, I got a phone here. Obviously I'm going to look at porn, and that's just part of it, right? Like and like you said, it's normalized in your friend groups and it's funny and that's just what you do and blah blah blah. But it really affected my relationships with women, like you said. One way, performance anxiety. Like,
Dude,
you compare yourself to other people in the porn, whether that's size, stamina, or just like overall general movement and technique.
dude,
Like you're
that's such
constantly
facts,
you're
bro.
constantly thinking like when you're finally to the act, right? And you're 15, 16 years old, you're already pretty nervous.
Dude,
You're
even at 18, like older,
yeah,
I struggled with it. Like
definitely.
even 18, 20, fucking.
No,
Keep
it
going.
happens,
I
bro.
like what you're saying. This is important.
It is. It is. So when you're finally in that situation, like, oh my God, dude, like my girl's like getting naked or like whatever, you're 16 years old. You're not thinking like, holy shit, dude, like she's naked. Like, this is so cool. Like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like what you would think a normal 16-year-old boy's reaction would be. Now in my head, I'm going, dude, am I going to be able to perform? And is she going to think I'm small? Like, what if I come quick? Like all these different scenarios are running through your mind. And now it's like you're so hyper focused on like performing, it's not going to happen now because you're having this like mental battle with yourself. And bro, it fucking sucks. It is the worst feeling ever because it's like you can't even enjoy this. You want to do this, but your brain is like not wired to enjoy it. And I don't think it was so highlighted back then. I was lucky to get into relationships and like fall away from porn naturally, that I never had that dependency on it. So I'm really lucky in that regard. But like you said, it's so easy to get caught up in the, dude, I don't even need a girlfriend. Like, I got plenty of porn. Like, I'm cool. Like, I don't even want to deal with that. You know what I mean? But think of all the beautiful things that you have now because of a relationship and all the connection and love and intimacy that you have because of Maddie. Like, that is so fucking special. And think of how many people are missing out on that because they're stuck in this trap. And the bigger you dig that hole and the more you continue to dig that hole, it's that much harder to get out of it. It really is.
That's when you start dating the AI robots.
Yeah, that's when you start dating their AI
No,
robots.
you hit the nail on the head. I've had that problem myself because it's such a real thing. The comparison trap, bro. Like we talked about with social media, it's in everything in life. We fall into this comparison trap. And for young men, like, I know there's gonna be some cocky motherfucker listeners, but bro, I'd be slinging it on good, like, hey, yeah, fuck you. but no, for real, it does create such a negative perception of what should be intimate and special at first. Like, and I guess while we're on the topic, like, I mean, we're adults here. Like, sex, I've come to learn, not recently, but that's ironic, come to learn. But no, it's just like, it's like anything in life. I read an article about it by this doctor on Twitter about it's like lifting weights or playing a sport. You learn how to do it through doing it. But the porn industry and all these young men, it's created, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Like, that was a perfect description of performance anxiety, comparison, and all these things. And it ruins something that's supposed to be special. And it carries in. And it's like one of those things, like, that's why relationships are so important, because you learn how to do those things. It's like lifting weight. You learn and you get better with your partner. And,
yes.
And as those things go on. But we live in a society now where, like, speaking for men, like, porn, it creates that gap. And like you said, the hole just gets deeper and deeper, where you get to a point, like, most men our age, they can't even socialize with a female unless they're drunk. Like, that's a real thing, dude.
Because they're so nervous.
Yeah, or they're just weird, or they just don't know how.
That too.
Like, it's so weird to me.
And another thing that happens with porn too, you sexualize every girl now. Like, you're constantly thinking about sex. You're constantly thinking about like that woman, like being undressed. Like, it's just this constant sexualization of women. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm a man. I love sex. You obviously love sex. There's like so much more to a relationship that adds to that connection and that even intimacy. Like, just that bond together gets so much stronger when you actually look at the woman as like, oh, that's a human being. Like, that is a woman, not an object that is being used in porn. And that's another reason I have a hard time with the porn industry too, and that's another, like, we can talk about all the things that are bad about it. but I still believe in freedom and
Yeah, we're not.
it's
If
America.
it's what you do, it's what you do. I'm not out here saying
For sure.
like I hate you if you do porn. It's like
No.
Do you? I'm just saying the impact it has on myself and men.
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
only speak for that opinion.
it's the same thing with drugs, right? Like I really do truly believe that we should legalize all drugs and we should keep porn legal and everything. The worst thing we can do is make it illegal, and now we have all these channels of like terrible things coming out, terrible drugs. Obviously, we've seen that with the drug war. I don't want to speak on that, but what I'm trying to say is like, fuck, dude, I keep losing my train
You
of
were
thought
making
today.
a perfect point because I wanted to build off it. You were talking about how we as men will, or when you're addicted to porn, you start sexualizing all women you see.
Yes. Yes.
And then you started talking about how it's more intimate and better when you're with a partner who you actually like. You don't see your partner as just an object or just a chick you're hooking up with. You see her. There's a difference between like sex and like making love. You know, it's like you build that connection differently when you actually value the human you're with.
Yes,
That's kind of where you're
100%.
at.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. And why I brought up the drug war, so thank you for reiterating everything I just said. The why I brought up the drug war is you see all these people who are like hooked on terrible drugs, and you have this fentanyl crisis that we're having now. Like, porn should still be legal. I'm all for it, but we still need to vocalize the downsides and the negatives and the terrible things that can happen if you become addicted to it and you overuse it and you use it in replacement of actual human connection.
Yes.
It's so important to talk about those downsides, and same thing with drugs. Like, that's why I think all drugs should be legal, and we should just communicate the downsides. So now we have everything regulated. It's, you know, it's safer. Not to say that doing heroin is like super safe, but if we have honest conversations about it and talk about the real downsides, the negatives, the positives, even, we can actually have a dialogue and conversation where we find some common ground and just give all the facts to people so they can make their own life choices and decisions.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more, man. It's just obviously like we're not going to get into a crazy drug talk, but I guess just to wrap up the porn conversation, since we got on that, very interesting, by the way. I never thought we'd be talking about this on a podcast, but just another, you know, negative thing too that I've read about is, and this is the worst of all scenarios, is it also creates a lot of the violence in men.
Yes.
You know, rape cases. You know, it's because they're like so tired of like jerking off. It's like, I need the real thing, and they think they're entitled to a woman, you know, by force, and that's where things, you know, that's like, I think we need a lynch rapist so people fear it. Is that fucked up for me to say that I think that?
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
It's
like,
your opinion.
I'm sorry. I have opinions of certain things in this modern world that if you fucking cross the line, the world needs to see you fucking suffer. Because there needs to be a level of fear installed in humanity that you know you will fucking pay the price if you fuck up. And that's one of those things. But it stems from like porn. Like, I think if you were to do a study, I can't speak on this as a fact because I don't know, but most men who rape women, they were probably porn addicts. Would you agree with that? I can't speak for certain because I don't know the studies.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I would think that, like, because I did hear it on a podcast that, like, in your brain, like, you become so addicted and you want it so bad, like, that it's like that, like, I need, like, it's even, I'm not even talking just rape, like, straight up, you snatch a girl off the street and you fucking her. I'm talking, like, guys who are so aggressive, like, even at bars, or, like, when a girl's drunk, it's like, you know, like, you hear about it all the time, like, guys who are hooking up with chicks while they're asleep. Like, that's fucking weird.
Wild, dude.
You need your fucking ass beat.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I wonder, and like I said, because they did say there's a correlation, but I just wonder how large that correlation is with the direct correlation between porn addiction and rape cases with men or women. Like, obviously, I can't speak for women, but, like, for men. And it's just fucked up, but we don't have to keep talking about porn. It's an interesting topic, and I think it's a topic in this modern world, especially, you know, people who listen to us need to hear, because, you know, we're vulnerable here. We just fucking talked about,
yeah.
You know, we just talked about fucking smacking our dicks on a podcast, dude. So, like, you know, it's just, and, you know, it's fucked up, but things need to be said, because if I didn't hear people talking about this, you know, 3 years ago, I wouldn't have shifted my perspective and been like,
Definitely.
damn, this isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid, I'm not saying everybody who watches porn is going to go be a terrible person, but I'm just saying, as a human being, back to full circle from the beginning of this podcast, you need to have a self-awareness that, all right, I'm doing this every day. This can't be good for me. I should go read a book, go for a walk. Just anything. It's just like you need to become self-aware. We're not sitting here saying that if you're in the porn industry, fuck yourself. Like, no, we're not saying that. We're just saying.
Well, they're not fucking themselves. Well, some of them
are.
Themselves.
You're right. I can't even use terms because it's all fucking fucked up. But you know what I mean. It's just that as a human individual, it's like you just compared it to drugs. Like if you drink too much, cut back on your drinking. You can get to a point that maybe you can't handle it. You need to eliminate it. It's the same thing with that in young men, because I feel like that's who you and I, like, in the grand scheme of things, like, reach out to the most is like men. We're men trying to set the example for other men.
Well, it hits us deep and resonates with us because we were once at that point.
Yeah.
So you want to help people who are along the same path as you and kind of reach a hand out like, hey, man, you're going to be okay. Let me help you up a little bit. Let me give you some knowledge so you can actually apply this in your life so you don't have to go through the same mistakes that I did. And I think that's like kind of getting off the porn topic and going back in and going into like the health sector and the coaching and the stuff that we do. We were both fat boys, right? And that, I think, drives so much of why we like to coach is because we don't want to see people go through that same process that we went through to lose weight and get to where we're at now. Like, let's just skip all the bullshit and do the thing that actually works. That's why I love what I do, because I'm helping those people who need help. Like, we were the same people. You know, I think a good way of looking at it is like, be the person and do the actions that help your former self, that actually serve your former self. And I know that's like a weird thing to think about, but it's almost like if you could go back in time and meet your former self, like, would they be proud of who you are, or would they be someone who's like, oh man, I'm this way, like, this sucks?
No, that's a great perspective. I actually, I don't know, I can't quote the person. It was someone famous, I believe, who was like, be the person your past self wishes they would have had. You know, and Matthew McConaughey, he also talks too, which is kind of like what we're talking about, is he was interviewed and asked like who his hero was, and he said, it's me in 5 years. And then when I'm 5 years from now, my hero is me in 5 years again. So it's like you're constantly pursuing becoming a better person that your past self would be grateful for. Pretty much, you know, you do deeds that your future self will thank you for. And if you take that approach in life, and obviously you can't be perfect all the time, but if you take that approach in life, you live a great fucking life. And over time, once you start living that way, your present moments become great because you're constantly progressing and doing things you love, and you're in a state of mind and in a state of life where you know you're on the right path. So when adversity does strike or something doesn't go your way, you know, you handle it accordingly. You're not ruined, because it's people are so easily just disturbed and, you know, thrown off of their course and give up so easily and quit. And it's just like, no, what would your future self want you to do? We'll take health, weight loss journey. Oh, you missed the gym for a week and you ate like shit. Like, would your self in 6 months from now say, all right, just quit now, I'll be happy if you quit now? Or they say, no, get back on the fucking regimen this week. You can't change the past, but you can control the present moment to create a better future. So get back on track, get back in the kitchen, start meal prep and eat healthier, whatever you got to do, get back in the gym and get back on track, and your future self will reward you for that. But it's hard to think that way because, like we said earlier, it's not instant gratification. It's delayed. And delayed gratification is the hardest thing to accomplish in this world, because most people aren't willing to do short-term sacrifices for long-term success.
Yeah, that's a really great point, man. I think you said that really beautifully.
Thank you, man. That was nice of you.
But yeah, on your point, I think let's take the weight loss example, because, you know, we're coaches here. If you look at someone who has a really unhealthy lifestyle and they know they want to get better, they just don't know how. Like, they had this goal in mind. They want to see themselves 6 months, a year ahead, maybe 50 pounds down, like way healthier, have all these habits. Great. You are not going to go from that first day of realizing that to your perfect self the next day. And if you are, high likelihood that you're going to burn out. Like, there 100%. Has to be this slow ramp up of like, okay, let me get the protein habit down. Like, that's something I think we both do with our clients, is focus on the little things, like the low hanging fruit that means so much and that are easy to actually accomplish. And going back to, I think we talked about this earlier, is like stacking those little wins. So, let's just say we have a protein requirement. Let's just, a lot of my clients, I will just focus on that for the first like 2-3 weeks. I don't even care what your calories are. I don't care what you're eating. Let's get the protein requirement to where it is. And then once you have that habit built up, it's just instinctual. Like you're constantly focusing on that. And you're, I think we have the same ideal is you focus on that protein, everything else kind of falls into place. And yeah, like I said, I think focusing on those little habits, those little rocks. I mean, not the little rocks to your analogy of the big rocks, but like the low hanging fruit, the easy things to do. Those are the things that create that snowball effect and allows you to just build and build and build and build. And then when you are at 6 months to a year, maybe you're not that ideal, but you're 10 times better than when you first started. And that's something to be proud of for sure.
100%, dude. You said it perfect. And your goals change as you progress. The problem is people try to go from 0 to 100 without going from 0 to 1 first, and 1 to 2, and 2 to 3, and 4 to 5. And when you break things down and actually worry about one thing at a time, and like you said, the protein's a perfect example. For anyone listening, please consume a high protein diet. You will thank yourself later. You'll get your results quicker because you're not going through in and out phases, because that's a big problem. People go through for years. There's people who go through in and out phases for years and they don't see any progress, but then they finally decide, like they come to a realization of, you know what, I'm just going to commit to this for 6 months and see what happens. And then boom, 6 months. They're like, wow, this actually worked.
Yeah.
It's a great prime example of what we're talking about is fucking Nevin, dude.
Yes,
like,
your
talk
brother,
about
man.
Someone who just started. My brother, long story short, very overweight. I think he was like 330, 335 at his max. Was just miserable, and he's gonna listen to this. I know he is, and he wouldn't even be mad at me for saying this because the fucking truth is he was miserable. He was extremely overweight. He worked at his desk all day and then came home and fucking played video games all day. He ate like shit, absolute shit. He was developing health problems from his obesity, like extremely overweight, terrible health habits, terrible life habits, didn't socialize much, and he was just heading, like you said, just down a downward spiral. And we've talked about this all the time, and he was headed down a downward spiral for years, and he even extreme depression. I'm not gonna get all the details of his life, but just depression and just terrible habits, and they just compound on you day by day, and it just gets worse and worse. And he was saying, we talked about this like a couple weeks ago, and he was saying how he felt like his whole life just stopped after high school until literally 2 years ago when he started working out again. Wow. So from 18 to, was he 27? I think he's 20 or 26. He was 27 when he started. 18 to 27, he said it was just years of just waste, Mm-hmm. And, I explained to him, I was like, well, it's not a waste because it made you exactly who you are today. And now you're at a place where you love your life and you love who you are and you love what you're doing. But to build on Nevin's story is, we got him in the gym and he started working out. And he didn't try to go 5 days a week or 7 days a week for 2 hours.
He threw up his first workout.
Yeah, he threw up the first few.
Because he thought he was like, oh, big dog.
And all we did was kettlebell stuff on the turf.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just compounded that interest, and he never gave up. He always showed up, and I made it hard on him too because he had terrible discipline habits. I said, we're starting at 6 a.m. And he looked at me like I was fucking nuts. I'm like, dude, if you want me to fucking train you for free, you're meeting me there at 6 a.m. And he was there, and he compounded interest. And the craziest thing is, and I told him this at the beginning, and I wish he was here sitting next to me so he can speak about it, because he can relate to so many more people than you and I can right now. We're at a different level, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to, I'm keeping it 100. In terms of where we're at right now, we're at a different fucking level. And he, right now, but we've been at that level too, Mm-hmm. But where he's at right now, he's fresh in the gates. He literally told me himself he didn't feel like he got his life back until he started hitting the gym. And first 6 months into the gym because he needed to see progress first. But he didn't give up. He took it from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, etc., all the way to 100. And now he's at a point mentally where his salary almost doubled. He's making more money. He's more happier than he's ever been. His mindset, he's happy. He used to walk in the gym miserable, but he showed up and he's happier than he's ever been. He's social. Like, dude, you can even see, you've known him when he was a big boy. How much have his social skills improved?
Dude, I love that you brought this up. Yeah, bro.
On his mentality and social skills.
I love that you brought that up because, yes, he lost a bunch of weight, like close to 100
and got
pounds.
strong as fuck. He's strong.
He's a beast. His calves are insane.
Biggest calves at old school.
Dude, if he keeps this up, I know he's going to look even more insane than where he's at right now. It's so fucking awesome to see. But the most important piece to me is he's not an aggressive guy anymore. He doesn't lose his cool over every little thing that happens in his life. And it's all stemming from his healthy habits. It's all stemming from his nutrition and his workout habits. And, you know, even that connection where he goes to the gym and talks to you, talks to everybody else that's part of the gym. Yeah, he has leveled up so much in life just by making that small change to say, you know what, I'm really overweight. I need to do something about this. Let me just do one workout. Let me start with one workout with Cal.
Exactly.
And then he just built it from there. But you have to make that commitment too. And you can't give up, because we were probably in a similar situation where, like, I know when I was fat in college, and we both went through like a fat time in college, I remember looking in the mirror it was like every week, right? I'd be like, okay, diet starts on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, diet starts on Monday. Diet starts on Monday.
Sometimes I still do that.
All right. But you're like looking in the mirror, miserable with how you look, feeling like shit. You know you have a huge gut and you want to get rid of it. But it's that discipline piece of just following through and doing it and building those little habits. That's the hardest step. But if you take that first step and just commit to it, I mean, your brother's a perfect testament to where that can lead you.
And dude, to build off of what you said earlier, when you were talking about like just the porn, for example, like if you get in a hole, it gets deeper and deeper and it's harder to get out. Like Nevin was explaining that and kind of shit to my perspective, because like we were fat boys, but we weren't Nevin fat boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was explaining to me.
He was like the Eric Cartman of 27 years old.
Bro, he was a big boy. He's going to geek out when he listens to this, but he was explaining to me like, but no, like, Cal, you don't understand. Like, when you were as big as me and look in the mirror and feel the depression I felt, like, and he's right. Like, we can't control, like, we can't put ourselves into the exact state of mind of everyone else. But I know him at his lowest in terms of his physical appearance. I never felt that low before. Like, I was really overweight. I was obese, but, like, not to the extreme of what he was at. Especially, and I was a teenager. He's a grown-ass man. So he was talking, though, and he made a good point. This is good for people listening, whether it's you feel this resonates with you or somebody you know and care about, is the more, you know, unhealthy your life becomes, not just physically, but because he was unhealthy in every single way.
Every aspect.
You know?
Yeah.
The harder it is to dig yourself out. So, like, the strides you make mean so much more. So, you know, someone weighing 180 who's pretty fit and leans down to 160 and has ripped abs, their satisfaction may not be equivalent to being 330 pounds, getting down to 250 and still being chubby. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, everyone's different, but it's just, you know, that's why I wish he could be here right now to explain to people, because he could resonate even more on a deeper level than we can with people who are like more in that extreme category. Because, you know, I don't think either of us were extremely obese. Like, I was obese, but I don't know. I wouldn't say I was extremely obese.
No, we were both active too, right?
Yeah, we played football. We played sports.
Yeah, we were D linemen, so it was kind of accepted to be a bigger dude. And yeah, it was more of an internal battle than it was external. Like, I still had a girlfriend at the time, and, you know, and maybe it was a little bit of a toxic relationship, but still, like, I never had to worry about, like, you know, getting girls or anything like that. I was just a little fatter than what I want to be. But yeah, to your point, like, I mean, he was morbidly obese, totally unhealthy.
As an adult too, and I think that makes it harder because you're in the real world now where, like, you're not seeing people, because he didn't really socialize much. Like, he had his little few friends, and it's just, I don't know. At the end of the day, like, he's the prime example in my life. Like, because, you know, you got to look at examples. Mm-hmm. We use ourselves as an example, but when you, like, have someone else that's close to you that did it too, but did it in an extreme way of, like, wow, he really fucking did that shit. He's doing that shit. He's still doing it. Yeah. And he'll come on here and say right now, so to anyone listening who's not working out, whether you're obese or unhealthy, whatever, if you're just not exercising or forming healthy habits, I know he would come in here and say right now that becoming consistent with the gym and improving his eating patterns were the two best things for his emotional health and his mental health. Yes. And people, that is such an underrated medicine in this modern world, because people want a quick fix. Like, most people who want to change their appearance want a surgery or something like that, where it's like, and he's big about that. And I love when he preaches about that. Like, he's like, I'm so glad I did it the hard, like the real way. You know, because you got to be earn it. You could be, that's the one thing, a good physique. And you know this thing, it's like, if you have a healthy body, it's top tier respected, because it's the one thing you can't buy. Because if you buy a fake body, people know. Like, you get fake abs, like, they're fucking, people know they're fake.
Yeah.
You actually get made fun of. So if you're rich and go and buy fake abs, you're a fucking idiot.
It looks silly too. It doesn't match the rest of your body.
Yeah,
and
or
you're
like when they like say to girls like the thighs don't match, like when they get the fake booties.
Yeah, that shit is just, I'm not about it. I mean, like, going back to our America conversation, right, is like, I still want people to have the opportunity to
do what you want to do.
whatever you want to do, 110%. But yeah, I completely agree. It's not just the physical changes that, you know, you earn from that time. It's the confidence boost.
Yeah.
It's that, like, building up of who you are and just understanding, dude, I'm powerful. Like, I can accomplish whatever the fuck I want to do. But if he never had that opportunity, like, to his point about, like, man, I wasted my years, 18 to 17. Bro, like, if you didn't go through that, like you said, you wouldn't be the person you are today. But you also wouldn't have that opportunity to prove to yourself who you actually are. And that you can, like Batman, get out of this cave and just become an awesome dude. And someone who is respected and someone who really, like, can be confident in their body now, which is, you know, I'm sure he's still struggling with that, because I know we do.
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like, we still struggle with that mentally. And that might be another good conversation for us to get into, of our body image and dealing with that. I think comparisons for sure have, you know, an effect on that, but we definitely expect, like, perfection from us. And sometimes it gets in the way of positive self-talk and building yourself up through the dialogue that you have. And it's challenging. I've gotten so much better with my body image. I think the healthier the habits you have with nutrition, you're not, like, we used to, we were big into the gym, but we definitely had an unhealthy way of going about it, where we'd, like, smash, you know, have a lot of cheat days, but then also starve ourselves at certain times.
we were trapped in the first phase of health that I talked about at the beginning. We only thought about calories. We didn't think about anything else. So you could finish what you're saying, but that's where we're at. It was just like eating calories. We're either eating too much calories or not enough calories, or we're just not eating any calories because we're ashamed of what we ate.
Yeah. I mean, I know you just you gained a little bit of relationship weight over the past 6 months. Hey, I want to talk. We got to be invulnerable here.
I know. Let's keep it 100.
But listen, like, bro, you still went in the gym every day. Like, you still are fucking attacking it, and I still want to have your quads. So, like, don't think this is a shot by any means.
I'm just fucking with you.
But, like, you gained that relationship weight, and I know we had conversations about how you perceived your body and everything. Talk to me a little bit about that experience and that process of, I guess, loving your body again, if we want to call it that, or just, like, how did you deal with that emotion through that time?
So first of all, it was an unintentional bulk. It wasn't relationship weight. The unintentional bulk. But no, I'm not. I mean, if I were to get naked for you guys right now, I'm still pretty healthy, fit, lean. But back to what Trevor's saying, even when we're healthy individuals, the body image stuff, like, kind of doesn't go away.
Yeah.
So, like, for me personally, like, most people look at me, they're like, dude, what do you mean you're fucking jacked? You look good.
Yeah.
Like, I just pretty much, like, my abs faded a little bit. But we're on the cut right now. We're getting back to them. But anyways, what Trevor was saying, like, about the emotional side of it is, like, yeah, there was days, like, where I just kept sound, you know, early in the podcast, he's like, oh, we'll start on Monday. Like, that was me. Because I know at the beginning of a relationship, when you're talking to someone new, like, you're going to go out, it's normal. You go out to eat more. You do dates, you know, you hang out, you watch movies, you eat snacks, like, and that went on for a couple months, and I'm like, all right, it's time to get on the grind, you know, like, get back to my ways. And then more stuff comes up, more dates, you go out, do this, you do that. Oh, you grab dinner with, because even it's like just socializing too, like, you grab dinner with the boys or do something, and then, all right, I'm gonna start this one, you know?
Yeah. And
it, you know, you start seeing the change in your body, and you realize you're like, fuck, what am I doing? And there was days where, like, I'm at a very strong state of mind now where, like, it's not literally hindering me to the point where, like, I'm worried about myself or like not gonna work out or be like a bum. Yeah. Be lazy. But it does, like, hit me like, fuck, dude, like, what are you fucking doing, you know? And I've been really good now for the past, like, 3 weeks. But it's also too, like, you got to set the example for what you're doing. If I'm going to be, you know, if I want to be this fitness coach, health coach, mindset coach, you know, all that kind of stuff, like, I got to practice what I preach. So, you know, the rest of the world doesn't give a fuck that I'm in a relationship. They see me, and I got to look the image that they want to hire, you know? So I got to make sure I look the part for what they're, you know, what they're looking for. And in this world we live in, especially on social media, if you want to be a fitness coach, you got to look the part. It's going to be very hard to attract clientele if you're not a fit human being. It's not that I even lost my fitness. Like, I'm still very fit, but
That's what I was saying,
but I was
yeah.
shredded to the gills before I got in a relationship.
Oh, I know, yeah.
You know, I was realistically probably 10 to 11% body fat, and right now I'm probably floating around like 17, 16, but I'm on the come now. But it's, you got life, like you said, ebb and flows. Like, you go through phases where it's hard to maintain a shredded physique year round unless you're doing all the little things right. And, you know, I put on a little relationship weight, but then it's the reality is you got to, in life, not just in the fitness industry or your fitness journey, but anything in your life, you got to look in the mirror and you got to get sick of your own shit. Cause that's the hard reality. It was like we talked about earlier, like self-awareness, like people would rather have someone tell them it's okay. You know, come here, give me a hug. Instead of saying, no, motherfucker, it's time to get your shit together. And you got to be able to do that to yourself sometimes. And that was kind of like me the past few weeks. Like, I've been fucking crushing the gym. Workouts have been top tier. Nutrition has been really back in place, like eating well. Because the crazy thing, too, I want to talk about is with the past, it's like been 10 months now. I mean, we've been officially dating, I think, for 9 months, but we're like hanging out. But the thing is, it wasn't even that I was overeating. It was that I was under consuming protein and overeating the bullshit. People don't realize. I was reflecting back when I was like 230, dude, fucking ripped up. And compared to like 2-3 months ago, dude, I was probably consuming 100 less grams of protein since I've been in this relationship.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. And I realized, I'm like, it's all the other bullshit calories that are getting in the way. And it's not that I was eating junk food or terrible food. It was just, one, not enough protein. Workouts were struggling. Like, they weren't as, you know, to my level of what I like to do. Eating, like, bad eating habits, like snacking at night or doing things I don't usually do. But hey, one thing I gotta say is, if you are single, if you get in a relationship, you just got to accept that happens. Like, you're gonna go through that phase, but once you get to a place with your partner where you like are aligned with your goals, and, you know, she's right on path with me, like she likes living a healthy lifestyle too, which we wouldn't work out if she didn't. Yeah. So it's like, all right, we went through that comfort phase, you know, and like now it's like, all right, we're gonna get back on the grind. Like, I'm not gonna be, you know, I cook, like I have that's pretty much what I do for a living, but I'm not gonna be making.
That's why you're on here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be making exquisite meals every day and shit and loading them up with all the fucking ghee and butter and fucking all the flavor. You know, it's like, no, we're getting back on the grind. We'll eat that stuff occasionally, but I want to feel good. And me personally, I feel best when I'm, you know, at a leaner physique. It's not, and I think that so like people who were fat first and then get fit hate being thick. Like me, you know, I hate the feeling of being thick. Like, that's what I mean by, like, if you guys go look at me right now, like, I'm not fat at all. I mean, I'm still fucking ripped up, dude. Veins are popping. I just don't have the 6-pack popping like it was, but it's coming back. Anyway, but I'm more confident and happy with myself when I am leaner because I was fat my almost whole life.
Yeah.
You know, the majority of my life. So, and then I have friends who are skinny, and dude, when they're like they like being beef, like how I look now is how they want to look. Yeah. They don't like so being weird. Skinny. Yeah. So it's like, we all have this bodily image we see for ourselves. And it is something that will fuck with your head. And I mean, even Evan says it all the time. He's like, I know I'll never be happy with my body. It's just part of the grind. So he's like a gym bro now, which is funny. Yeah, but it's part of the gym bro community. Like, once you join the gym community, like, body dysmorphia is a thing. It's obviously a serious issue. And if you do suffer from it dramatically, like, you should seek professional help. But at the scale we're talking about, like, it does still fuck with us. Like, and we're like two people who I'd say are naturally confident, like, men who, you know, handle our business, but it still definitely creeps in the mind. But the point is, like I said, you got to get sick of your own shit. And if you want something to change, you got to do something about it. I didn't like the fact that I was getting thicker and doing my unintentional bulk. So I locked the fuck back in. Workouts have been better. Nutrition has been better. And I'm already starting to see progress. And that's life. You go up and down, like Trevor said earlier, you ebb and flow. Like, it's very uncommon to be, you know, going 110 at every single second of every minute of every hour of every day. You know what I mean?
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. So I don't regret it. Do I regret going out to eat and building good memories with Maddie or friends or whatever? Like, no, it is what it is. Now I'm just going to get back on track and get back to doing my thing. And that's the beauty of a healthy lifestyle, is you understand those things. Like, you're not strayed away from your path. Like you said, I was still going to the gym every day. It wasn't like I wasn't working out. It's just my workouts weren't as intense and nutrition was off. But, and another thing too is stress. Being in a relationship, it's stressful at times because, especially for me, it was new. I never really had long-term like girlfriends. You know, I was always doing my own thing, and stress, cortisol, and all that plays a significant role in your weight and your, you know, physical appearance
and behaviors too.
And behaviors, yeah. And I found myself stressing a lot just because when you're in a relationship, if you're not a piece of shit, like you think more for two people now. Like as a man, you're thinking, well, is this also in Carly's best interest?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And or as like a relationship too, like there's sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do for the love of your partner. Like, you know, it's just how it goes. And there's things Maddie does with me that I know she doesn't want to do, but it creates that like some stress at first because it was a new adaptation. But stress could come from anything. It could also come from your work, you know, and all those other things. So it's like I think stress management is also a huge issue that people don't factor into their weight loss or muscle building process.
Yeah. No,
I think that was another reason. It wasn't just my nutrition and workouts. It was also my stress, you know, because I was stressing a lot just between, you know, I was trying to balance the meal prepping, social media, relationship.
It's a lot on your plate.
Where you, like me personally, like I like trying to like be there for everyone. So like trying to like maintain my family, you know, like seeing my family, seeing my friends. And it was a lot. And I think that was also accumulating on me. But we're in a great place now, man. Like Trevor said, and repeat it again. Ebbs and flows. Things go up and down. And when you're up, you just got to ride the wave and utilize that power and that energy and, you know, translate it into, you know, positive reinforcement to get shit done.
Absolutely. Accept the flow of life, as I like to say. Just accept it. Whatever's going on, just moving forward and taking it in stride. Yeah, dude, I love that you said that you don't regret it because you shouldn't at all. And like you said, it was one of your, really the first relationship of your adult life. So it's like, dude, go out and have fun. Like, go out to dinner, have fun, stay up late, like enjoying the connection with Maddie. Like that's what life is meant to. Life is meant to be filled with all those experiences and emotions and love. And if you are so hyper focused on like, I need to keep my abs, like think of how many things you would have missed out on, you know?
Exactly.
And like you said, you're still looking in the mirror and like, I expect a better standard for myself. I need to put more work in to get to a place I know I can get to. But that, like, it's okay. It's okay to like you said, ebb and flow. Like it's okay to go up a little bit and go down a little bit. If you still have those good habits that you can always rely on. It's like you're a ship in the ocean, right? And the things that compromise that ship, or not compromise, that are made up, like, okay, let me restart this. So you have a ship in the ocean, right? That is you. That is you in this life, in this vast sea of life. And what that ship is built out of is your habits, your behaviors, how you treat people, like we talked about, those pillars, those big rocks that we care about. So the stronger that those are, the more ability you have to go through insane storms and craziness in your life and some things that you just can't control. Like, you can't control the fact that you met someone that you really connected with and wanted to start an actual human relationship with. Like, that just happened, and you need to ride it out and continue moving forward with it. But you had all those healthy habits built up. Like, if you were one of those people who had shitty, you know, nutrition habits and didn't go to the gym and, you know, played a bunch of video games and just had that stress build and build and build and build and build, you might be in the same place, probably worse right now, if you didn't have those habits. So, yeah, dude, I think you've always had it. Like, you've always been an inspiration to me of your actions. I mean, like, I like to look at when we moved in together at John Carroll as like that turning point in my life. And not to say I was like down a dark path or anything like that, but it was just like, I finally had a friendship where we wanted to become more enlightened in every avenue of life. Like we just talked about porn here. If we were, you know, so weird about stuff and like we boxed our opinions in and had this like ideological box of like what we can actually talk about, and everything outside of that's just weird. Like, dude, we don't care about what it is. We're so open to everything, and we just want to improve our life. So I look at that moment as like a total shift in who I was as a human being.
Fuck yeah, dude. Same for me, man. It was
Yeah.
great. It was great for us. And that's another thing too, is just people need to surround themselves by quality people. You know what I mean? I am so, when people ask, like, when anyone I talk to and the topic gets brought up, like, what are you thankful for in your life, or what are things in your life that, you know, inspire you and keep you going? I'm like, it's the people I talk to.
Definitely.
The people I talk to most now are people I want in my life. It's no longer people I feel like I have to talk to. And it's a hard reality, especially if you're a young adult listening to this and you're in your, you know, high school years or college years, because you're living on a campus or you're seeing someone every single day. So it's easier to stay in touch with them. But when you enter the real world and you're on your own and you're out there, you're not going to have the time, the resources, and all those things available to stay in touch with 40 people. You know what I mean? It's going to boil down. Your circle's going to shrink whether you like it or not. And you need to make sure who's in that circle is who you want in that circle. Because if it's not, you're going to resort to making decisions you don't want to make in order to please those that you're around. And it's going to lead you down a downward spiral in life. And you are not going to be happy and fulfilled. And I'm blessed, beyond blessed, every day to have a circle of friends, even family members, my girlfriend, my dog, of like people that I want to be around. I genuinely want to be around those people and my pets. You know, then that's so important. And it's hard for people to, and I feel that is one thing. I think I'm lucky. I think that's luck. I think there's luck. Luck is a part of life, whether you believe it or not, but you also create your own luck with your habits, your work ethic, and the kind of person you are. So the luck I've created led to real luck of meeting you and a lot of my other great friends and all the other great people in my life. It helped patch the terrible relationships I had with people in my family. Like my brother, we talked about him. Him and I were never close, ever. I'm not even kidding. Never close. We're just brothers, never close, until he wanted to start going to the gym with me. And now we're like best friends. He's one of my best friends. You know, it's just fucking crazy how the world works when you have common interests with people and you align those common interests and you just build them together. And it's not like a dick swinging contest. It's not like oh, you're winning. Like, fuck yeah. Like, we're winning. If you're winning, I'm winning. You know, Luke's winning. We're fucking winning. Like, I want to be around people who want to win in life, and not just financially. I'm talking everything. People who are good men, people who treat their significant others with respect, people who treat their parents with respect, people who set the example. We have friends now who are parents, who are good parents. You know, it's like, those are the kind of people I want in my circle. Those are the kind of people we want in our circle, is people who, you know, they enjoy life, but they also treat life with respect, and they treat people well, and they treat themselves well. And, you know, it makes it a lot easier to go through life, regardless of whatever storm is thrown at our ship. When it's like the game battleship, whatever. When you're fucking stacked up with badass ships all around you, there's no one to take you out, you know? You know, you go down, you're going to fucking trample everyone when you have the right squad. And that's something we're very fortunate to have.
We definitely are. And an important aspect of how we got to this point is being able to shed off the dead weight of friends we've had way back when. And it's not even saying that these are like bad people or like I hate them at all. It's like, dude, I have so much love for my past friends and the experiences that we created, and I had so much fun. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you align with my values and how I want to approach life. Like, it's important to take a second to say, like, okay, the people who I'm hanging out with, do they actually like align with who I am? Or am I being a shell of myself, or even just putting on a different mask just so I can hang out with these people because these are my only friends? And maybe you are in that situation, right?
Like, it's tough.
And I don't think we were, because we played football. We had so many guy friends and such a variety of personalities and interests and purposes. So it was easy for us to, meet each other and meet other close-minded people. But for those people who might be listening who don't have friends like that, the more you pursue that passion and that thing that you really want to do, the more those people start to just come into your life. Like, going back to the creating your own environment conversation, when you create a really good environment where you're just like working on your craft and working on yourself and just making yourself such an awesome person and being generous and kind and loving and all these amazing qualities, people want to be around you. So the more we focus on that, it's really weird. Like, I find it kind of, maybe the word, probably ironic, right? The more we try to focus on pleasing other people, the more people are turned off by us.
Dude,
right?
That's a great fucking point.
Yeah. And like, we value so much authenticity in other human beings. Like, think of all our friends, dude. They're all like authentically themselves.
Yeah.
They might be doing different things and going down different avenues in life, but it's like they're just authentically themselves every time we see them. They're not putting on a face just to make us laugh or like be a part of our group. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I guess I'll just wrap it up like that.
Yeah, no, dude, you hit the nail on the head. And I think another thing too that people listening to this, if you do struggle with friendships, is don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like, so what you said was perfect, how you attract people. When you become your best self, you naturally will attract people into your life. There's dudes I talk to now, you know, not every day, but weekly or monthly, you know, that I've known in high school that I never once said a word to in high school. But we both saw where each other are at in life and what we're doing with our lives. And it's like, well, I vibe with you, man. You got it. That it factor, you know? Like, and we develop friendships. Like, you got to find people, whether in the modern world, one of the good things of social media is you can connect with people who are aligned with you. I have internet friends who I feel like I know in the real world. I've never seen their fucking face, you know? And it's just so important because, like, we're, as human beings, there was never a lone wolf, you know? It's, you need people around you that are going to build you up. I used to pride myself on thinking about being quote unquote self-made, because that's a big thing, you know? But I forgot who I was reading. It was one of the motivated.
Probably a Hormozy.
No, it was somebody. One of those guys.
Yeah.
It might have been E.T., dude.
Oh, okay.
You know, I love all those guys.
Yeah.
I don't even know which one because I consume so much of that stuff. But he was pretty much saying like being self-made. Yes, like it's something to be proud of. But no one's actually self-made.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you needed, even if you were self-made, you needed that person who built that device that you were able to build. You know what I mean? There's so many little things.
Yes.
But like, in order to advance in life, if you want to advance faster, is to surround yourself with similar-minded individuals. Yeah. And you can meet those people, but like Trevor said, you have to be the person that attracts them too. No one's going to want to be around you if you're bringing them down and hindering the life they're trying to create. But if you're someone who has a vision and it like Trevor also said, like, you don't have to have the same path and be doing the same thing. It's just like, are you an authentic individual? Do you have good, healthy habits? You know, are you trying to make the most out of this gift called life? All right, let's go. You're with us. Like, I fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's you know, it's obviously easier said than done, but the best place to start is first with working with yourself. But you need to have a tribe of people in this world that you can count on, rely on, and that you want to see win and you want to win with. And obviously, you know, not everything's gonna be perfect all the time. There can be times where you bicker or you don't get chances to talk to each other. Like me and Trevor, we haven't got to talk as much lately. Like just between life, work. I'm in a relationship now. Like, just busy. But you know your friendships are good because when you do pick back up, you pick right up where you left off. Joey fucking Bates. Haven't talked to that kid in like 5 fucking months. Talked to him on the phone yesterday for an hour. It was bliss, dude. It was fucking music.
He's
to my
the
ears.
man. He's the
Joey
man.
Bates. Shout out Joey Bates. Great guy. But that's just the thing. You need to surround yourself. And I genuinely do feel bad for people who struggle to find friends. Like, because it's tough, man. It's tough in this world because the whole internet thing, like, it ruins social skills. Social skills are at an all-time low now because the way the internet has derived things, you're so used to socializing through a keyboard and texting and doing those kind of things, where when it comes to in-person interaction, a lot of people get anxiety, like social anxiety, and struggle with that. And the only way you're going to get better at it, go do it. Go fucking do it. Go meet people, socialize, connect. I'm telling you, you need to do it.
Yeah. 100%, dude. Yeah, it's I think another piece to why people have such a hard time in this social media society, our values are now driven by influencers and clout, especially. Dude. We have this value associated with our, you know, whatever you want to call it, clout or popularity. We have a follower count, which, I mean, we're creators, like, we talk about it and it's a thing, but some people like actually depend on that number for their self-worth.
Yes.
And it's hard to find common-minded individuals when so much of our generation is just wrapped up in that and never-ending rat race of like, I need to get a higher number. I need to, you know, outwork Billy and have more followers than him. Like, it's so weird to me. It's not even weird to me, though, because it makes a lot of sense with how social media is conducted and the tool that it is. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's just another point is as to why it's so hard to find friends. And we're really lucky to, and like I was saying with pursuing your purpose. When I was younger, like I thought football was it, you know, so I just dove into it. And I mean, I'm getting married in a month now. Is like, I think of all the friends that are coming, I think maybe one friend who's going to be there didn't play football with me. So all these close people that I've had are because of why I chased that in the first place. So yeah, I think that's just a good story to tell. And I'm sure you've had, you know, similar situations where it's like, yeah, I was just doing me, doing what I love to do. Next thing you know, like, you know, even Dominic, like the guy you worked out with earlier today,
Oh, yeah.
like you guys are really close now. I know he's a like-minded individual, and, you know, I'm excited to learn more about him and get a little bit closer to him. As, you know, our relationship starts to blossom a little bit more and I get to see him a little bit more. But, you know, you just went from like not really being friends beforehand. I don't actually know the whole situation.
We were cool in high school, but we weren't like hanging out.
Exactly. So it's like I'm not boys with you, but now you're like, you guys are talking about a lifestyle.
Bro, we talk all the time, bro.
Yeah, and it's like you guys are super tight and have such an alignment with values and morals and everything, which is so important. I think that's more important than anything when you're trying to find friends, is like, do they align with what I'm trying to become? Like, or do they align with like what I truly believe in terms of values and like kindness and generosity and all those characteristics?
100%. I think it's just like, you can't really define it, but it's like the it factor. Like they have it.
Yeah.
Like you can't really define what it is.
What did Rick always used to call it? OKGs?
OKG. He's an our kind of guy or girl. Kind of guy or girl. And they just have it. Like you can't define it because there's so many different ways to define it. Yeah. But what it is that they're one of us. They're an OKG.
Yeah, we're energetic beings. I truly do believe that, and I don't want to get like too woohoo.
Oh no,
like,
he's gonna fall into the quantum realm.
Yeah, right. Like I don't want to get in that conversation, but that energy and like that vibe, you just pick up on it like right away, and just it clicks for some reason, which is an interesting phenomenon. And I don't know if that happens in any other mammals, but yeah.
No, I don't know, man. We're social beings, dude. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah. Well, shit, dude. I think we've been on for like 2.5 hours. I don't even know yet.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, fuck, whatever you fire at me, we can talk about. But if you want to wrap it up, we can always do another one.
Nah, dude. Yeah, I'm ready to wrap this up.
Was a good one.
My back is hurting a little bit, and I'm getting kind of thirsty.
My mouth is dry as fuck.
I know you drank your water like halfway through this one.
Dude, I know I'm thirsty as hell, bro.
We could have paused it. That's fine though. We'll wrap it up. Make sure to go follow Cal. Cal will cook it. You got a bunch of other pages too.
I got so we got Cal will cook it for Instagram and TikTok as the main channels. YouTube is Cal Reynolds. It'll be the first one you look up. Same with Twitter. And then I also have 50 Cal Fitness LLC if you want to work with me, crush your goals. And then I have philosophy page, Calosophy, Instagram.
I love it, man. You're doing a lot of things, man. Very inspiring, and just super grateful to have you in my tribe and someone who I can count on. I mean, shit, dude, you're my best man. So
yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Everybody wanna seem like they're living out the dream. It's always about the cream, since we talked about the cream. Let me get behind it, please. You